It's time for Twit. This week in tech, Paris Martineau from Wired is here. Rosemary Orchard is here from The Automator. And our old friend Owen J.J. Stone, oh, doctor, we'll talk about the Mac Pro. You know, it's not that expensive. Only about a third the cost of a banana duct-taped to a wall. The first award nomination and win for Apple TV+. Jack Dorsey's plan to open Twitter. And New Orleans brought to its knees by ransomware. It's all coming up next on Twit.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit. This is Twit, This Week in Tech. Episode 749, recorded Sunday, December 15th, 2019. At least she double-bagged it. This Week in Tech is brought to you by Masterclass, online classes taught by the world's greatest minds. For a limited time, when you buy one annual Masterclass all-access pass for yourself, you'll get another one to gift for free. Go to masterclass.com/twit and get started with this limited time offer. And by Brave. Brave is the browser reimagined. Switch now to get unmatched speed and privacy and stop trackers from following you. You'll save battery life, and you can earn rewards by opting into privacy-respecting ads. Brave is free and easy to switch to. Go to brave.com/twit and switch to Brave today. And by ExpressVPN. Protect your online privacy with one click. It's that easy. For 3 extra months free with a 1-year package, go to expressvpn.com/twit. And by Bombas. Bombas makes socks that are comfortable and look great for every occasion with a wide variety of options. For 20% off your first purchase, go to bombas.com/twit. It's time for Twit, This Week in Tech, the show where we cover the week's tech news. It's our holiday edition. As you can see, we've decorated the studio, and we've brought in some very festive people, starting with, Dr. Owen J.J. Stone. Hello, Owen. Oh,
what's
I
up,
like
party
that.
people?
You've got special
back in the house for the holiday.
See-through headphones. That's nice.
Battle of the headphones. I'm wearing a shirt for your Uncle Leo.
What does the shirt say?
Okay, Boomer.
Oh, crap.
Just in case you get out of line today.
I got a bunch of millennials on the show today. I'm in deep doo-doo.
I'm a Gen... Am I a Gen Y? I'm not a millennial. See, people get lazy. They skip my whole generation. I think I'm a Gen Y. I was born in 79.
Yeah,
so
we
I'm
don't
not
care.
I'm not a millennial.
You're nothing. You're in the middle.
Okay, Boomer. Okay, Boomer. Exactly.
All right, but I do have some other millennials on here. Paris Martineau is here. Always a thrill to have Paris on. She's from Wired. Hi, Paris.
Hey.
Great to have you.
Thanks so much for having me, Boomer.
Oh, crap. It's going to go on all day, isn't it? You know what? I don't mind Okay, Boomer, because we baby boomers screwed the world up and are continuing to screw the world up. So we kind of earned it.
What we do is just like kind of rib you about it while we all burn.
Yeah, we can own it. We can own it. Thank you for being here, Paris. And also, it's the first time on Twit. She's been on our shows before, but I'm thrilled to get her on the News Roundtable. Rosemary Orchard is here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
She is a brilliant coder and a podcaster on the Relay FM network. And you were on our iOS Today show when I was there to talk about automation and shortcuts and so forth. She calls herself a productivity geek.
Well, I mean, automation / productivity geek / very good at procrastination in all forms.
You know, isn't that funny that people who are good at to-do lists and stuff are the worst procrastinators? I guess it's self-defense.
Must be.
Yeah. Automators Podcast, Nested Folders Podcast, and RosemaryOrchard.com. Wonderful to have you. Rosemary, are you running out to buy the new Mac Pro? I think your automators will run so fast on that Mac Pro.
Yeah, I got a new Mac Mini in July this year, and I somehow twisted Stephen Hackett's arm, so he actually upgraded my RAM for me, which is something I was going to be following YouTube videos to do myself. But I don't feel like I need a Mac Pro because my Mac Mini is pretty darn powerful. It does everything I need it to do. And the application which theoretically would use the most RAM is ScreenFlow, and that crashes when it's over a 2 gigabyte file anyway. So for me, the Mac Pro is a beautiful to look at machine, and it could be in an art gallery because that's about as useful as it will be to me.
And it's actually less expensive than a massive painting would be. Only the top of the line Mac Pro, $52,599.
That's like 1/3 of a banana taped to a wall.
And you can't eat it. No.
I mean, you could try.
Probably cook
I wonder if they would
It's
sell
like
you the empty casing to use as artwork.
The empty the case is beautiful. I think one of the last Johnny Ive designs, I think, yeah. It is awfully expensive. The wheels alone are $400. Of course, you don't have to have wheels unless you want to roll it around. The monitor adds another $6,000 if you want the stand. So a number
$7,000 if you want the special coating.
Oh, and if you want the nano coating, another $1,000. But be careful if you buy the nano coating, you have to use the included special cloth to clean it. So, you know, and I don't think that cloth is available in stores.
The cloth is one of those things that makes me worry a little bit because people always buy like these really beautiful, lovely, brand new MacBook Pros, and then they go and they buy the cheapest possible bag or case to put it in. It's like you just spent $5,000 on a laptop, and you are quibbling over whether you spend $50 or $75 on a backpack for it. Like, just spend the more money to get the right equipment to protect it. And I mean, if you are using the special coating, I'm sure it's very fancy. I don't know why this cloth is so special. Like, nobody seems to really know, but I can't think it would hurt to just do what Apple suggests to in this case. If you're spending that much money on a screen.
No. Yeah.
I think that might fall under the line of imagination. You just tell people they need a special cloth and they get it. And anybody who's spending $6,000 on a monitor could really give a hoot or Annie about protection. Because once you're throwing that kind of money around, I mean, are you even cleaning your own monitors? Aren't you paying somebody to do it?
Do you have somebody to do it? Some special
I thought to myself, it'd be a better investment for me to pay somebody $10,000 to camp outside Uncle Leo's business to rob Twit of a $52,000 machine than it would be to spend.
I am not buying. There is no Mac Pro in my future. I am not buying that one. I was stupid enough to buy the 2013 trash can Mac.
Oh yeah, it's half a Tesla. Come on, baby. Don't
I know, it's cheap. I know.
It's half a Tesla. And guess what? That Tesla, all it does is drive you around. Okay, you're over here doing live podcast 24/7, 365. You need this machine, and I need to steal this machine from you so you can collect it. And get a second machine redelivered next week. Come on.
I don't know anybody who's bought one yet, but I do know a number of reviewers have. Justine got hers, again, a loaner from Apple, and did a lovely unboxing. In fact, she just tweeted today she's been using her. She did the unboxing. She shot it with 3 red cameras. So she has an 8K video, and she just tweeted editing the 3. Let me show you this, Karsten, instead. We saw the unboxing before, but this is her tweet of all of the 64 cores maxed out. And look at it. It's about 1 frame every few seconds. Oh, my God. So this is a good reason not to edit in 8K. Marquez Brownlee got one as well. Jonathan Morrison. I think Jonathan shot his unboxing video with an Alexa camera, which is a very high-end cinema camera for movies. Vince Flore, who will actually use it, I think. Vincent LaFlore is one of the best photographers ever. Does a lot of aerial photography. When I interviewed him a couple of years ago, I asked him, come on, you shot the drone footage for Apple's TV screensavers, and he would neither confirm nor deny, which tells me he did it. So he's obviously doing some high-end stuff for Apple. His review is a text review. He says, the Mac Pro is actually fun to work on. It feels like it works with you, not against you. Yeah, well.
So, I mean, I assume that this is amazing. Last weekend I rented the Panasonic SH1 or S1H, and it shoots in 6K.
That's a nice video camera.
Yes, I got it from Lens Rentals because I wanted to see it before I bought it, before I dropped another $4,000 on camera, and it's phenomenal. In the dark, it is the best low light camera I've ever had in my hands. So I've never had a red or anything crazy, but the file size was ungodly. And I'm used to shooting on my Canon EOS R in ProRes 10-bit, and that's manageable. But once you get up to 6K and 8K, I just don't have room to store it. So unless you're really making movies or doing high-end professional work, I don't know if you need this computer. I'm over here balling on a budget with my Ryzen chips, and I rendered my 6K just fine. I mean, I went out, I made a sandwich, I came back, my 4 minutes of video was done. I went out, I watched the movie, I came back, my half hour of edits were done. So, I mean, I get that this machine is all world, but to get it to be all world, it's $60,000 because there's no way in the world I'm blowing 52 Gs and not getting that nano megabyte Trinitron screen. There's no way in the world I'm going to be on a regular screen. So you got to spend 60 Gs to be fully maxed out.
I'm going to show you this. I'll mute him out. I'm going to show you this video from Spazzy Labs where he did a Ryzen to compete with the Mac Pro, and he believes he got actually faster performance. This is a Hackintosh, and of course, no serious filmmaker, music maker, photographer is going to use a Hackintosh because, you know, one update and the whole thing goes away. But it does look pretty. It does look pretty, yeah. And he was able to those Ryzen chips. In a way, I feel like Apple, because they're sticking with Intel, is a little behind the curve because AMD's Ryzens have, you know, they're going to have a 64-core Ryzen later this year in 2020. So.
It's I don't know. Like I said, I'm not doing 8K, and I've never even edited anything 8K. But 6K with that Panasonic was a huge file, and I was still living the dream, editing stuff. So I get like for professionals, but for that amount of money, I'm like, you better be making movies from the future. I assume iJustine is coming back from 2022 to release the videos of the renderings from this machine. It's kind of sad because these videos are going to end up on YouTube. Where it get crushed.
It'll say 8K, but
like 180p.
Yeah. So I bet you could fool people. Our video releases are HD, and I'm going to put that in air quotes because it's 720p, which is the worst HD you can get. But it's more than enough, and even on a big screen, this looks fine. There is a Linus Tech Tips released an 8K Yule log video on YouTube, and I don't. We have a lot of bandwidth here. These high quality monitors and everything. Can you tell that this is 8K? This 8K Yule log?
No.
No.
I mean, it all depends on the screen you've got, right? Because if you've got a 720p screen, an 8K video is not going to look any better than a 720p.
But even if you have, first of all, no one has an 8K screen. I guess you might have an 8K monitor, dude. Are there any? 5K is the biggest I've got.
What 2% of the population? I mean, again, I get for professionals. I might think about killing somebody for this computer. I wouldn't do it, but I think about it for 30 seconds.
You think about ripping off your good buddy Leo. All right.
You're sure?
All right. Here's. I'm going to show you that this is silly but this is the 720p version of this video. And I'm going to turn it. Well, of course you can't because you're looking on Skype. Here's the 8K version. Let's see if it even loads. Oh, there it is. Oh, look how much better that looks.
But does it look 8K better?
$8,000.
A lot of your favorite YouTubers are upscaling 1080 to 2K or 4K just for YouTube, and it still looks great. Like you hear people talk about that all the time. And of course, they downscale their 4K to 1080 just because it makes the 1080 look so much more vibrant. So I mean. Again, if you're a professional and you got the money to go, let's get it.
Movies aren't 8K.
Nope.
There is the chat room. Roland's telling me in the chat room that there's a 8K Dell monitor. Let me just see how much this has set me back. Oh, it's only $5,000, 32-inch 8K
Yeah, and how
monitor.
much content are you ever going to be consuming
None.
in 8K? I mean, the amount that is ever out there is going to it's going to be very little, and effectively, I mean, most of the time you're not going to be looking at something that is going to be doing that expensive screen justice. This is also how I feel about 8K television. It's like, okay, sure. I guess I could have a TV that has this option, but really is the stuff that I'm going to be watching every other day going to be available in that quality? Probably not. An HD TV is just fine.
A lot of pressure on NHK, the Japanese broadcaster from the Japanese government. They're pushing hard 8K Olympics in Tokyo this summer. and they'll be shooting it in 8K and broadcasting it. I guess only in Japan will you be able to see it. I think there are some 8K televisions. We'll see 8K TVs at CES. I remember the first 4K I saw years ago at CES, and I thought, wow, this is like looking through a window.
And so we don't get yelled at by people later on. The benefit of shooting in 8K or 6K or 4K is the fact that you can crop in. I shot a cast from a show, and there were 8 people on set. That's why I rented the S1H, and I could zoom in on each individual person and have them at like a full 1080 from a 6K. So again, even though things aren't always displayed in 8K, the reason you shoot with 8K is so you could crop and cut in for those reasons, and we fully understand that.
I'm going to be shooting when we go to CES. I'm going to shoot it on my Sony A7, which is a still camera, but it shoots 4K video, and I'll shoot 4K video. Our editors told me this is what we want you to do: shoot 4K video, single camera, wide angle, and then we can crop in, because that means that 4K is 4 1080p screens. So we can crop in, we can zoom. It'll be like you have 4 cameras. And if you do it wide, you'll be able to get a lot of the scene, and we can go wide and then go close and all of that stuff. So there's definitely advantages to that. And I'm not knocking the Mac Pro, and I'm not knocking somebody shooting in 8K. Mostly I'm pointing out that this is a computer for the 1% of the 1%. This is a small market. And even we do video production every day, and I wouldn't dream of spending that much money on a computer.
And the people that are really going to love this are the guys doing Marvel CGI, like back in the day when they did The Matrix, and it took them like 400 computers and like a team of 82 people to do the graphics. Like, I assume something like this is what those people are salivating over, having a cluster on wheels of these machines rolling around doing all the dirty work for them. So again,
there seems to be, I get it. There's always been in the gadget world, in the tech world, kind of this how high end can you make it? How fast can you make it? For if money were no object, and clearly that's what Apple is doing. But do you think Rosemary, does it forward? Is the advantage of Apple making this that it will then forward everything else Apple does? Like in 2 years, we'll get better Macs because of this?
I think it's entirely possible that we'll get those better Macs in 2 years, but also I feel that Apple lost a lot of their pro market, or at least a lot of people thought about leaving, because the computers just weren't there. There was nothing that could do this stuff for those professionals who are out there doing, graphics for films and things like that, CGI and things.
But haven't they lost those? I mean, they lost us when they screwed up Final Cut and they put out that trash can Mac. We moved to Premiere on Windows. All of our editors, the workstations are Dell Precision workstations running Windows 10 and Premiere. And I wonder I'm not going to move back to Mac now. Haven't they lost a lot of those people over the last 5 years?
I mean, maybe, but maybe some people are still hanging in there with their pre-trash cans, their cheese graters, their old cheese graters. I don't know. But I do know that this is one of those things that I think is as much a design challenge and a what can we do with this kind of thing.
Right.
And I've seen quite a few people complaining on Twitter that this is not something that's really affordable for the masses. And I don't think it's designed to be that. No. I think it is one of those, let's try doing a Mac where people can take parts out and put parts in. Are they still going to bring it to the Genius Bar?
Right.
Probably, because you paid $52,000 for a computer.
Hell yes.
You're going to take it somewhere and expect somebody else to take the thing out, remove the dust, and put it back in for you. Yeah.
I'm definitely not opening this up myself, even though it does open beautifully. It's not. In a way, I think I don't mean to bang on Apple, because I applaud the fact that they said, well, what if cost or no object? What's the best thing we could do? And I think that's great. I just wonder, what's the value to the rest of us? And the rest of us in this case is 99.99% of Macintosh and computer users. So maybe there's some value in that they're pushing the limits and that we'll someday get something like that. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe not. You already have a Mac Mini that was the most affordable Mac, and it does everything you want it to do.
Yeah, I mean, I can produce video on that. Sure. I wouldn't say that I'm producing high-end video. I'm certainly not producing things in 4K, but it's doing everything I need it to do, and it will be able to do more in the future as my needs increase.
Right. there are also a lot of accessories in the Apple Store specifically for this Mac Pro. And as one might imagine, they're expensive, including a $1,000 webcam from Logitech. Because, of course, if you have a monitor capable of doing 8K video, you need a 4K webcam.
I'm interested in seeing that, actually. I want to see how that looks.
And, maybe this is really the truth, is that 8K is coming, and that 4K, even a few years ago, was kind of like 8K is today, and it's here. It's here for sure.
The webcam is only $200, actually.
Oh, it's only $200.
Yeah.
It's
cheap.
It's cheap.
Yeah.
Get two of them.
And that's why I'm interested to see how it works. Because normally when you see the 4K webcams, they're crap. But, I mean, we'll see.
Really?
I have the pre-runner to this version running right now. That's what I'm using at this moment. I find it
looks great.
A great web camera.
Yeah.
It does not have a magnet on the bottom of it, but it has a stand and it's sitting on top of my MacBook Air and it works great. So
it looks fantastic.
I'm using the same one. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That Logitech camera is sitting on top of my MacBook right now.
Okay. Yeah, the images are fantastic, actually. This is the funny thing. I mean, here we are. We're doing a show. Most people listen to it, but we're doing a show with video. I'm the only one in the studio. Everybody else is, Rosemary, you're in the UK, right?
Actually, I'm in Vienna.
Vienna?
So I'm a little bit further east.
Even better. She's in Austria, and you could be sitting right next to me. The picture's great. Paris is in Brooklyn. The picture looks great. I don't know where the hell Odocta is, but
Well, see, I'm rocking right now. I'm rocking $1,000 webcam because I use my Canon 80D as my webcam.
Looks good.
And then if I wanted to bump up and use the EOS R, I got that Cam 4K link. I could throw that on there too, but I think that's overkill. I really can't tell the difference. I look just as ugly in 4K on a webcam as I do in 1080, so I just keep using the 80D. So I bought this was extra $200 here too, but I could do it. I could upgrade Uncle Leo if you needed me to look worse.
It is kind of amazing, actually, that we are able to do this with people all over the world via Skype, and it looks great. One of the reasons that we put you around a table in these TV screens, we call them avatars, is so it feels like we're almost sitting around the table together. I don't want to take for granted the amazing technology. And honestly, the technology that you see in the Mac Pro it's great because it's pushing the envelope, and then will eventually come down the road to us at let's hope, a lower price.
I mean, again, you could configure. You don't need to get we keep talking about how expensive it is. You don't need to get the $50,000 machine. When I was playing around with it, I thought, in my mind, I was playing around with it, and feasibly in my mind, which I'm not going to do, I was like, I can get away with like $12,000 and be really, really happy. But then I look at my computer that I built, and I just keep upgrading myself. Like, I just bought the new Ryzen 3 processor, which was $1,000. And again, this thing is doing 4K renders. I got over 100 gigs of RAM. Like, I don't really know what more $9,000 is going to get me in a Mac.
Right. Apple TV very loudly touting that they won their first award nomination, a Golden Globe Award. Actually, they got the Critics' Choice Award. They got a Golden Globe nomination for The Morning Show. Billy Crudup, who plays the network goon, got Best Supporting Actor in a Drama Series, beating out Peter Dinklage in Game of Thrones and Asante Black in This Is Us. I don't know how important the Critics' Choice Awards are, but Apple's very happy. I have to say, I think we have one more episode of The Morning Show, and I've yet to be captured by it. But it's a yeoman-like effort. Is Apple TV Plus doing well, do you think, compared to something like Disney Plus and The Mandalorian and the existing incumbents? What do you think, Boris?
Apple TV Plus wins in Austria because it's here, whereas Disney Plus is not.
Yes.
So
that was a big deal. They launched this in, I think, 100 countries at launch. That was an amazing feat. Yeah. Have you been watching it, Rosemary?
I've been watching The Morning Show. I just watched that episode with the singing that was screenshotted in the article. So I'm not sure how far along I am yet. But
not while I'm around.
I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
What countries is it available in? It's 106 countries. That's unheard of in a launch of a product like this. I don't even think Netflix is in 106
for a streaming show. Yeah. I feel like the offerings are generally pretty varied. I have not watched a single second of Apple TV Plus, and I'm all right with that.
You're better off, to be honest with you.
There's only so many streaming services that I can subscribe to at one given point, and I have made my bed with whatever I have loaded on my Roku right now.
Yeah.
Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime. I'm tapped out.
What do you think, Rosemary? Should they run out and buy Apple TV Plus?
I mean, I don't think it's something that is necessarily worth paying for yet, but if you get a new device, then you get a year of it included. So
you got it with your Mac Mini. I got it with my my watch or my TV, or no, I guess my iPhone. I got it.
Yeah, probably your iPhone.
I got it with my iPhone, and I still haven't even bothered to turn it on yet. Like I could care less. Like if you have anything on there that's useful for me to see, this is the first time I've ever even heard about this show. So I haven't heard anything about Apple's Plus TV shows. I'm never going to hear anything about them. So whoop-de-doo. I got, like you said, I got Netflix, about to get Nickelodeon on. We about to have a battle with Disney Plus. I'm about to have my whole dreams come true of being a child.
You have to have Disney Plus.
So, I mean, I am not on Disney Plus.
Same here.
I refuse to spend more money, and I'm waiting for somebody to throw me a passcode so I can see The Mandalorian.
You gotta ask that guy who's selling the Fire TV sticks at your girl's soccer game.
Not a bright guy. He definitely can hook me up. It's not softball season, but I can definitely get to him.
He'll hook you up.
My thought process was, I'm going to wait till The Mandalorian's over. I'm going to do my 7-day free trial, blow through The Mandalorian.
Get it all on, yeah.
Because I still got all my Disney stuff. I got DuckTales. I got Darkwing Duck. I got all that stuff on DVD and Blu-ray. So, I mean, they ain't getting me yet. They got to come up with something to get me dip my toe in the water.
Here's an amazing stat. And then we'll wrap up the Apple news and move on because there's lots of other things to talk about. Horace Dediu, who does a great job at Asimco, he's an analyst, but he's a smart guy. He tries to read the tea leaves because Apple doesn't announce how well any individual product does. They stopped selling, talking about sell-through. But he did some analysis on what Apple was quoting for its non-watch wearables and home. And by subtracting what he believes the Apple Watch contributed to that revenue, he estimates that, get this, AirPods, and I presume that's AirPods and AirPods Pro, are a $4 billion a quarter business for Apple. A quarter in 3 months, $4 billion. That's better selling than the iPod ever was.
I believe that.
It feels like everybody I know has gotten AirPods in the past year.
Wow.
Yeah, I am seeing them everywhere.
Even in Vienna, you see them everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's when the AirPods first came out, there were a couple of people who I would run into on the tram in the morning, and we did like the, oh yeah, you have AirPods too, look at each other and nod type thing. And, occasionally it's the same kind of thing with the Apple Watch. The first few people, it was like, oh, I found somebody who actually understands why this is, cool and useful. But now everybody's wearing AirPods or AirPods Pro. I'm seeing fewer AirPods Pro than I am seeing AirPods. But they're also shorter and it's winter, so everyone's wearing a hat. So,
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what the cool thing about that is? Apple did a good thing and then they fixed their problem. You come out with AirPods, right? And then a few people get them. Then you come out with the AirPods 2. And all my friends got their kids the original version because the price went down, right? But the kids in the school can't tell if they're version 1 versus 2. So you got the hookup for $79. Your kid thinks they're cool and everybody's happy. Then they come out with the Beats Pro and I'm rocking those and everybody's like, oh, what are those? Da, da, da. And then they come out with the AirPod Pros and now people know you ain't got money again. They like, look, you broke. Look at you broke.
You can't afford
$250 too long.
Come
on. My daughter looked at me and she's like, Dad, I'm like, I will throw you out of a window if you don't just keep rocking these AirPods. I got you because I bought them myself, but they don't fit my ears. But these kids, they know. They're on it. So I could see them selling them, making money. Again, because a lot of people could buy the cheaper version and not feel bad about themselves like you do at Apple. Do you have 3 cameras on your phone? Oh, you're a loser. Look at you, you loser.
4. Rosemary, it's so romantic to hear you say, as you ride the tram in Vienna, are they still horse-drawn now, or do they have electric trams? I'm just curious.
They're all electric, but there are some that are still like the old style where you climb up the stairs to get into them, and they have wooden seats.
It's like Dr. Zhivago, right? I mean, it's really and then you feel like, well, if you're riding the tram to go have soccer tort in Vienna, you shouldn't be using any technology at all. You should just throw those AirPods out the window.
You say that until you sit in front of the heater, at which point you're like, oh, wow, this tram really does contain technology. Because those heaters, wow, they're
fancy
powerful.
heaters, huh? Well, you need them.
They're just really powerful.
You need them
I have no idea what they do with them.
You need them.
You sit in front of them and you roast like a chestnut.
That's Rosemary Orchard, our favorite chestnut. RosemaryOrchard.com. She's in Vienna. Paris Martineau. I was right. You're in Brooklyn, right, Paris? I seem to remember that.
Yep, I am.
Okay.
Yeah. I found a way to get an Ethernet connection here in my home.
Nice.
The trains aren't running to my office today.
Why aren't the trains running? Is there a big strike?
No, it's just I am off the AC line, and for some reason this weekend they just decided to not run them in Brooklyn.
Shocking.
For 3 whole days,
Shocking.
so I've just stayed at home.
Are you? Let me just out of curiosity. Are you using the microphones in your Bose, or?
I'm using the microphones in my Bose. I at first was trying to do the Logitech one because that's normally pretty good, but I'm in a small upstairs living room that I have, and the heater sometimes goes on and off.
Well, that's good. We don't hear the heater, so that's good.
Yeah.
And Doctor, who's in his secret lair somewhere in the Atlantic states, what is the button with the OK Boomer? I got it. OK Boomer. I got it. He's wearing an OK Boomer T-shirt, but what's the button? Is that like an astronaut?
Oh no, that's my Raising the Ninja button for my podcast with my daughter.
Oh, that's your logo.
Yeah, that's my logo for the podcast. Oh, I got another one too. I got my blacked out Doctor buttons. My Black Ops Doctor buttons. I got swag, Uncle Leo. I bought some stuff for the holidays.
I just searched on Google for raising a ninja, and I got a recipe for making oatmeal raisin cookies in a ninja blender.
That sounds good.
That's what your podcast
delicious.
about, right?
I think that's not the pot. There it is, iqmz.com. That is father and daughter ninjas. I love that.
Yeah, we do a podcast together. It's very interesting. She hasn't quit doing it on me yet. So after the holidays, we're going to get back to it. I haven't embarrassed her enough. I'm trying though.
How old is Aaliyah now?
She is 12 going on 42.
Yikes.
Wrestling season just started, so we're back at it.
You're entering the dangerous years.
People say that, but I'll tell you real quick, you know what I mean? She's talking to boys like her, but they're scared to death of her. You know what I mean? It's just great. Like she said, she was walking through the high school, and the high schoolers were high-fiving her because they know her in the streets because she won championships and tournaments. So I'm not worried, Uncle. Don't scare me. I gotta.
What is she a champion in?
Oh, she came in. She came in third in girls in the county last year, and she came in fourth in boys. She was right out of the top 3. So she won a lot of matches last year, and she's only getting better. And like I said, I can't be there to protect her all the time. She's always getting A's and B's. I just realized I didn't check her grades for the last 2 years because I'm a horrible parent. And I said, "Oh, you got your report card?" She's like, "I always get A's and B's." I said, "Okay, I'll check back in 2 more years." So
what's the sport? Right. Taekwondo, karate,
wrestling. But she does jiu-jitsu, MMA, softball,
wrestling.
That's what I did in high school.
I didn't know they let girls do wrestling.
So now it's a sanctioned thing. They have it's across the board, across the states, and they have more girls sign up every day. She was the first girl in our area to do it. She got her friend to do it, and now there's like 12 girls on the team. Now there's 4 girls on the high school team. So she is a pioneer and a trendsetter in my area.
Very nice.
And a ninja.
And a ninja. I was just looking. There's no ninja lessons on masterclass.com, our sponsor today, but you can learn chess from world chess champion Garry Kasparov. You can learn ballet from ballet dancer, principal dancer at ABT, Misty Copeland. You can learn how to play poker from Daniel Negreanu. You can learn how to shoot a 3-pointers from Stephen Curry. Can you imagine poker from Phil Ivey, tennis from Serena Williams, gymnastics fundamentals from Simone Biles? Can you imagine? Where could you learn something like that? Masterclass. Masterclass.com/twit. Let me just show you some of these categories. Film and TV. Imagine learning acting from Samuel L. Jackson. I love the Pulp Fiction workshop where he breaks down the script in Pulp Fiction. You're actually in the scene. Remember the scene at the very beginning of the movie where they're in the diner and they hold it up? He takes acting students, takes the script, and actually works his way through the script with the students, talking about motivations, talking about how to do it. That is a master class from one of the great actors of our time, Samuel L. Jackson. You can get all of these. You can get cooking classes from people like Wolfgang Puck and Thomas Keller. Gordon Ramsay. I'm not sure I'll take Gordon's class. I think he might yell at me. And actually, he has two series on there. Massimo has a class in Italian cooking. You want to learn Texas-style barbecue. Aaron Franklin, James Beard Award-winning owner of the best barbecue in Austin. I've been trying to get in every year for the last 10 years. You got to get there by 4 a.m. if you want to get into Franklin. How about learning how to do it from the guy? This is amazing. This is masterclass. The best classes. Learn the art of storytelling with Neil Gaiman. How to make movies with Werner Herzog or Jodie Foster or Spike Lee. It's an embarrassment of riches. Learn creative writing from Margaret Atwood. It's an immersive learning experience. These are beautifully shot. You can watch them on your computer, as I am, or on your Apple TV. There's a masterclass app on the phone. So many different topics. And every time I see, there's my buddy Steve Martin. Every time I see one of these, I go, how'd they get Steph Curry? And I think really once, I asked them when I was talking to the masterclass folks, and they said, well, people just love doing these. They want to pass it along, pay it forward. Marty Scorsese teaching filmmaking. Each class is broken down into individual video lessons and downloadable materials. Use it at your own pace. We're going to talk about the All Access Pass, which gives you everything. It's charged annually. You get unlimited access to all the classes, 60 classes, 200 hours of lessons. And man, it's just fun to watch, but think of the things you'll learn here. And they shoot them so beautifully, so intelligently. I just am a big fan. We got a great deal, too, right now for the holidays. And if you've waited till now to buy a Christmas or Hanukkah gift, maybe this is the best choice for you. When you buy one annual Masterclass All Access Pass for yourself, you'll get another one free. So buy one, get one. They've never done this before. That's an amazing deal. Go to masterclass.com/twit. Get one for yourself. I got to learn barbecue from Aaron Franklin. Get one for yourself, one for the person you care about the most. And it's free. Masterclass.com/twit. Learn photography from Annie Leibovitz. Come on, man. That's amazing. Masterclass.
The list almost sounds fake when you're going through it.
It doesn't sound real.
It does sound ridiculous when you're flipping through it. I'm like, wow. And I stopped saying wow to myself like 5 days.
I know. These people don't need to do this, obviously. They're not doing it for the money. I've asked a couple of people, and they said, you know what? We want to pass along our art, and we want to do it in a way that represents it well. They're not going to come on Twit and do it. They want to do it in a beautiful setting with high-quality cameras. Judd Apatow teaching comedy, and so as an example, this is one of the classes I'm taking. It starts with adapting real life into a story. That's 45 minutes. Working with actors. That's 20 minutes. Half an hour making it in the business. And then there's a total of 32 videos. So that's just a handful of them. I mean, it's not a throwaway. Ron Howard teaching you everything you need to know. 32 episodes on directing, on acting, on writing, on choosing the right story. You want to do TV? Shonda Rhimes from Scandal, Grey's Anatomy. Aaron Sorkin on screenwriting. This is where you go, no, that can't be the Aaron Sorkin. Yes, it is. The Aaron Sorkin. He doesn't need to do this, but I honestly think it comes from this kind of desire to pass it along.
Bit of concern about the two Bartletts.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Which, by the way, Aaron Sorkin should not take credit for because I'm told Jack Nicholson ad-libbed that one. Maybe that's wrong.
Great. One of the greatest lines in cinema history.
It's a great ad-lib.
Can I ask you a question before you get started, Uncle Leo?
If you can handle the truth, yes.
Are you good at chess?
Very good at chess.
Okay. I'm not going to I'm gonna give everyone a quick master class, and I'm not gonna play you, but. So I have a friend who works for Lockheed Martin. He is a certified genius, and I play chess with him all the time, and he has never beaten me in the last 12 years of us playing together. And here on this broadcast, I'm going to tell people my secret. While we play on Yahoo or whatever we play on the computer, I also play on my phone, and I play against as the computer. So every move he makes, I make on the phone, and then the computer gives me the right move back.
That's
and
terrible. You're evil.
For the last 12 years.
That's it. By the way, a big problem in chess these days.
Oh yes,
is the cheating.
Yes.
And,
but he's a horribly snobbish person, and it's the only thing I could do to dig at his ego and his brain. So I keep doing it to him, and I hope that he never listens to this episode because then he'll know.
It's more of a problem. Do you ever play Words with Friends? It's more of a problem on Words with Friends.
Yes,
because Lisa plays, but she does not cheat. But there are cheat apps that will tell you all the possible right answers and the highest scoring answer, like in seconds. And you always know if you're playing Words with Friends with somebody who's cheating. Because they're coming up with words like globagoob. Yeah. And it's like, that's not a word. It's a word.
I've caught people cheating with that before. That's funny.
You kind of know.
He's the only person I cheat against in chess, but he deserves it. So there's that.
Lisa and I did that against you for New Year's.
Oh, that was really mean.
We played the Magnus Carlsen app.
So we had a chess simultaneous. Remember we used to do those 24 hours of New Year's? Where we do a marathon, raise money. We raised, I think, $85,000 for UNICEF the last time we did it. We would stay up all night. It was New Year's. We did it New Year's in every time zone across the globe. So it was actually, I think it was a little more than 24 hours. I don't know how that works out, but that's apparently the case. So they had a chess simul because it became known that I liked to play chess in my youth. And they had, I think, 6 boards or something. And I'm playing and I'm beating people. And all of a sudden, I'm playing. It was Lisa. It was my wife. And she's like playing these great. I've never seen her play so well in my life. She starts beating me. I'm getting pissed. And then I notice she's got an earpiece. So Karsten was sitting in the other room.
I was in the back room feeding her
doing
moves
what you do.
From Magnus Carlsen's app.
Pretty soon you figure that out when somebody's playing a little bit better than they ought to play. Hey,
love you, Lisa.
So we're going to get my Amazon Echo set up here because speaking of Samuel L. Jackson, you can now have his celebrity voice on your Amazon Echo. And they have a profane version and a edited version. All you have to do is say, Echo, introduce me to Samuel L. Jackson. It's 99 cents for all of your Echoes. Now, he doesn't say everything, but, for instance, you can say, where's my package? And he'll swear at you something about snakes on a plane, and then the female voice will come back.
He says a lot of things, though, because they use text-to-speech. Text-to-speech.
When I ask him what the weather is, he says, the weather in Petaluma, and he'll actually, and all in his voice. So it's pretty cool if you want to get Samuel L. Jackson. Do you know that he is the highest grossing actor of all time?
He's been in 342 movies. He's probably in this episode of Twit.
He is now.
Yeah. He was in the ad.
He is the highest because he was in all those Star Wars movies. That's why. He's been in a bunch of big grossing epics. Is he in the new Star Wars movie?
No,
I doubt it.
He has made 77 movies, Pulp Fiction, of course, but also he's the only actor on Earth who can claim gross receipts of more than $5 billion, $5.15 billion. Jurassic Park, 2 Star Wars films, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. I bet he gets Disney Plus for free.
I forgot about all the Marvel stuff.
Yeah, all the Avengers stuff. I bet he gets that for free. We'll Samuel L. Jackson will appear on the podcast as soon as we plug in my Amazon Echo.
I would have paid $10.99 for this. The fact that this is their first one and they got it for 99 cents, it was so free. I felt guilty about it. Like, I love Samuel L. Jackson so much, and this is the greatest thing that happened in 2019.
It is pretty awesome.
It's awesome.
My favorite dumb Amazon Alexa thing is if you tell it. I recently got a cat, and I was just messing around the other day, and offhandedly said, "Oh, Alexa, make cat sounds," and she does.
Oh yeah,
then you can just keep saying meow, and she'll make more and more cat sounds. There's apparently, and my cat freaks out every single time you do it. It's very realistic. You can pay 99 cents to get the expanded cat sound package, but I have not yet gone for that.
Expanded cat sounds.
Going solos.
What was
amazing?
What was I feel like Echo. What was the big technology gadget of 2019? Was it Echo? Was it the iPhone? What was the big? Time Magazine did the 100 best gadgets of the decade.
I know what the best collective was. It was Amazon. Amazon had me throwing my Google stuff out the window.
Yeah.
At first I was like, okay, whatever. Then they came out with the sub, the speaker, the clock, the watch, the toilet paper. I'm like, man, they got Alexa in everything.
Yeah.
And at some point, I mean, what do you need Sonos for when you could literally have your whole system set up? And I mean, if somebody's listening, they just put it everywhere, and it's really amazing. The stuff with the lamp, putting the speaker in the lamp, like that's futuristic.
To Alexa.
You have your Sonos hooked up to what?
Alexa.
Oh.
So I mean, I have a Sonos Play that's plugged into my Echo Dot, and I have the Sonos One that I use Alexa with, and that's perfect. Albeit, I feel increasingly bad about it, especially after reading that great Bloomberg feature about I don't know, the thousands of contractors that are forced to review all of our reporting.
All right. So I set it up by saying, Echo introduced me to Samuel L. Jackson. I think he's on here right now. Let's see if I can ask him for some stuff. Let's say, computer, ask Sam what the weather is going to be.
Hold on a second. Let me poke my head outside. Currently in Petaluma, it's 57 degrees Fahrenheit with partly sunny skies. You can expect more of the same today with a high of 60 degrees and a low of 34 degrees.
I think you can also say, computer, ask Sam to sing Jingle Bells.
Oh, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the
Computer,
way.
stop. Okay, apparently you can't get Sam to do that. Computer, ask Sam to tell a joke.
What do Jedis wear on the golf course?
I don't know.
They're plus force.
Oh, that's awful.
It's when jokes are so bad they're funny. It really gets me because I'm like, I don't want to laugh, but I'm so angry about it. It makes us. We all laughed. So I guess it's a good joke.
I think now this one I think works sometimes if you get the syntax right. Computer, ask Sam what it was like to be in Star Wars.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. That's wild. It's just nothing's happening. Look what's on the screen though. It's a microphone and a spotlight like he's about to speak, but nothing.
I was waiting for him to cuss at you. I wanted him to say something.
He did.
bad.
I turned on explicit. Echo. Computer. Ask Samuel L. Jackson what it was like being in Star Wars.
Oh, man. Being in Star Wars. Now, I actually did not know what character I was playing in Star Wars until I got to London. I got a call one day and said, George,
by the way,
need you in London. And then I was like, all right. So I get to London.
Sam is your boring
I had
neighbor.
no idea what I was going to do. I thought I was going to be like
to tell you a very long story. He kind of goes on.
Nobody needs me. And then I go in this room and there's these Jedi robes and these boots and stuff, and they're like, okay, we're gonna try this costume on.
So it's really like Samuel L. Jackson lives next door and pops in from time to time.
And then this person comes in.
I kind of wish you didn't have to say "ask Sam" every time. That feels
so unlike
yeah.
so. Well, sorry, excuse me. Computer, tell Sam shut up. So now that I would never do in person. So. There are two celebrity voices.
And he's got this big briefcase, and he opens it up, and it's got like
Unplug it.
8 lightsaber handles in it, and he says, okay, pick one.
Computer.
And I about fainted.
Okay, thank you. It worked. You did it. See, she is the automation queen. All right, what was I about to say? Oh, you can get Issa Rae's on Google. You can get Issa Rae or John Legend, and they become your voice. So they're doing some sort of prosody thing so that they record enough samples they can get the synthesis to do everything, but that not on Echo.
I'm guessing they didn't have Samuel L. Jackson money.
You know, yeah, Issa Rae and John Legend. I don't know. It's an odd choice. Do you think it's significant? I'll ask Owen this: that all three of these first celebrity voices are African Americans.
Well, when you're listening to a bionic English version of people most of the time, you want some flavor, so you might as well start off with a little bit of people with tan. I assume that's what it is.
Give
a little bit
flavor.
more sass in their voice. It sounds a little bit more fun. Like, personally, like another voice by Samuel L. Jackson, like if you had Mr. T
I pity the fool who wants to know the weather. Yeah, that would be.
Don't package at the front door, sucker. like that. Certain voices are just iconic, and you know them, and it's great.
I would like Odocta on my Amazon Echo.
Man,
I would
rant
love
at you every 5 seconds. What you doing? Order Apple stuff, Uncle Leo.
Stop it.
It'd be great.
Big tech story, and I don't think it deserved to be a big tech story, but everybody's reporting the story about the Ring cameras being hacked. And in particular, the story of a young 8-year-old named Alyssa. Her mom is a nurse and works the night shift. And she decided to get one of these Ring cameras in her daughter's room. I'll show you the video from CNN, I guess this is.
I did a lot of research on these before.
So the first thing that happens is all of a sudden Tiptoe Through the Tulips is playing in her daughter's room through the Ring camera. Now, these Ring cameras, like a lot of them, have speakers and microphones.
Before I got them, you know, like I really felt like it was safe.
The camera was supposed to be an added level of protection, a way for Ashley LeMay to keep an eye on her 3 daughters.
So I won't show the whole news thing, but eventually the hacker tells the 8-year-old, "I'm Santa Claus, and why don't you want to be my best friend?" And then says, "Destroy your room," and then start.
Oh no!
Yeah. So she disconnected the camera, and that's all you see in the story from CNN, many other local radio, TV shows. What they neglected to mention, and I think Ring, which is an Amazon company, was quick to point out, is that, and there, by the way, there was a podcast where they were in real time hacking Ring cameras. That was last week as well. But what's happening is a lot of people are buying these, and they're either not changing the default password, or more likely they're using a password that's been exposed in a breach from other sites. So this is a very common and terrible habit we all have of reusing passwords. But if you use the same, let's say you use this password to log on to your Marriott, your Bonvoy account. Remember, Marriott was hacked. 500 million records were exfiltrated, including email addresses and passwords. That hacker now says, well, let's search around. We'll try to find the camera. You can use Shodan or something like that to search for these cameras. And then, well, I got some login credentials. Let's log in, and bingo, he's in, because you reused the password. So the advice that is never, it doesn't seem like is ever given on these stories, and I just think I just pass this along. And anybody watching knows this, but because you're a geek, but if you would tell your friends and family, the key, these are safe to use. You don't reuse your passwords anywhere. This is a side effect, and turn on 2-factor authentication, and then this is not going to happen to you.
I mean, I think it's valid for people to be communicating the dangers of having an internet-connected webcam in your home at all times, given that the average person really doesn't have great password security. And no matter how many warnings we give them, the average person probably is going to continue to have terrible password security in some way or another. And so people should just be aware that if you are going to be using one of these devices, it's possible that you could have something like this happen. And that, I don't know, people should weigh the risks and benefits of that as they will.
Do you have any of these devices in your house?
I am personally a very anti-Ring person, given I've been really following all of the reporting that Carolina Haskins, who's now at BuzzFeed News, and a lot of other people, I think at like Giz and Motherboard and whatnot and CNET have been reporting on Ring and how their cameras have been kind of utilized by local police and the ways that the webcam streams and video from their doorbells are often able to kind of be used by police forces without so much as a warrant. And that kind of skeeves me out, so I don't have one.
Here's Cameron's story from Gizmodo. Ring's hidden data let us map Amazon's sprawling home surveillance network. If you join the app, the Neighbor app that Ring lets you use, Neighbor's app, you can. Gizmodo went through the data from the app, 65,000 posts, many of which have location information in them, and they were able to, with just a little data research, they were able to pinpoint all the Ring cameras. And now I don't think Gizmodo has access to the video from the cameras, but we know the police do. And so this map shows you what a very granular and complete video record police could make from these cameras. They don't have to be in every house. But
and Caroline recently Motherboard just published a 3-part series from Caroline that was fantastic, kind of tracking how Ring's association with police has evolved from like the days when they were on Shark Tank pitching their product years ago until now, which is really interesting to look at as well. But I think that it's just a really ethically complicated technology at the moment, which is why personally I have some hesitations about using it. Although I feel like as someone who has an Amazon Alexa in my house, I can't really complain at this point.
Yeah, and I noticed that for some reason Ring's getting a lot of heat. What are you wearing? Your sideways?
I'm waiting to jump in on this.
I know you are. Hold on, before we get the rant, he's getting ready for the rant. He's signaling his willingness to go out on a limb here.
He's charging up.
I have a little bit of a soft spot for Ring because they were an early sponsor. Before Amazon bought them, we did a lot of ads for Ring. I used a Ring video doorbell for years. I have since replaced that with Google's Nest Hello, but not for any security reasons. I don't think Nest is any different. In fact, Nest may be worse. It does face recognition and invites you to identify the people who come to your door so that your Nest Home Hub Max can announce them. Lisa's at the front door. It even plays a jolly little Christmas jingle. So what could possibly be wrong with that, except that, potentially Google's collecting face recognition data for everybody who comes to my front door. Is the Ring quantifiably worse than any other camera system?
Well, how many of these camera systems come from a vendor that you don't necessarily know a lot about? I know people have a tendency to cheap out on stuff like this.
That's much more risky. Yeah.
If you buy something from some unknown brand that just ships directly from China and it doesn't even have a specific app that they recommend that you use with it, you could use this app or that app or whatever. You have no idea what these companies are actually doing with your data because it doesn't tally up. And that's something I'm hoping that Apple's HomeKit camera integration is going to help fix with these things, because at the very least there's some standard involved there for security. I don't know how good this is, but I mean, we've had issues with home security stuff for years. If you remember the old-fashioned baby monitors, you could switch a channel on a two-way radio and talk directly to them.
Right.
And those have been used, to freak kids out and, to bully people in the past, back in the 90s. So this is not necessarily a new problem. It's just a more technologically advanced problem, which has greater implications.
Yeah, but so in which case you would want to buy from a company like, let's say, Amazon or Google or Netgear. These are big, well-known companies. They're not fly-by-night brands. They're doing auto-updating. Let me ask you this, Paris. Is it your sense that it's the deal that they did with the local police that makes Ring so much worse than everybody else?
I'm probably not the most knowledgeable in the comparison between Ring and some other all of the other companies in this field, but I think that the part to me that I've found a little concerning is the way that it is portrayed as something that is benign and simply a measure of safety. You can connect this neighbors app, but keep your neighborhood safe. Meanwhile, this sort of technology is in the background being used by local police forces and different groups to kind of surveil a neighborhood, and can lead then to situations where, let's say they hear from someone that they're looking for some 17-year-old kid wearing a sweatshirt in a neighborhood, and they turn on all of the Ring cameras, and then they happen to get some other person just because it looks kind of the same on this camera, and then it's my camera's fault that someone gets gunned down in the street. I don't want to have any sort of part in that.
But has that happened? Not to our knowledge.
I'm not sure, but I don't want to give. I would rather not have technology that I'm installing in front of my home being used by the police state to surveil the surrounding area and people who are not consenting to being surveilled.
This is so weird because Rosemary says, "Well, we're worried about hacking," and Paris, you say, "Well, we're worried about the police." So. Who are presumably trying to protect us from
I'm worried about
hackers.
Everything is my general state of being.
Is the best solution just to not have anything? On the other, I really like to be able to see who's at my front door. Before I answer it, it shows up on a screen on my house. When I'm not home, I can see when a package has been left and I can check it. I like that feature. Isn't that improving my security? And I'll tell you
I think it depends on where you live, because in some places, adding something like this to your house could make you a target, because you're demonstrating that you have the money to spend on stuff like this. And if you've got the money to spend on something like that, then surely you have something worth protecting.
But I'll have video of them robbing me blind.
Except they stole everything on the way out,
including the cameras.
You weren't paying for the cloud upload service.
Well, that's why I pay for the cloud service. All right, it's time for Owen J.J. Stone, Doctor, to wait.
So before we started the show, we watched a glitter bomb thing, and the guy said that he had him on camera stealing his package, and the police did nothing with it, even though he took the video to them. So the police seem to pick and choose when they want to use video camera surveillance and when it's going to help people.
Well, they have limited resources, and some crimes, like stealing a $5 Amazon package off the stoop, are deemed not important.
And I get that. But again, somebody's picking and choosing of what deems important, what doesn't. So I'm just going to say that from the jump. When a girl is kidnapped in a car and she's screaming for help and they get the camera and they got the car model, that was a great story that somebody's door cam heard that woman screaming and she saved her life. Somebody else, the neighbor was cheating on his wife, so he went to his neighbor and said, "Hey, was there a car coming into the driveway?" They checked the camera, and he caught she caught her husband cheating. So I mean, there's all kinds of things going on with these cameras and what they're doing. The fact that the police could go into certain ones, do certain things, we are surveilling ourselves, and so
for security, for our security.
For security, what? So you're saying you won't want to see who's at your door?
Yeah.
You know what? As an older person, you know what you do? You get up, you look through the peephole.
I'm not that old.
You know what I mean? You get
I'm not home, but I can right now.
Or get the written consent of everyone who ever passes by your door, your neighbors, their kids, anyone who wants to drive.
I don't have to get written consent when they come up onto my front porch. They're on my property, and if somebody's on my front porch, I'm going to get a notification. I'm at work. I can see who that is, and if it's a UPS guy, I could say leave the package, and once he leaves the package, I get to keep an eye on the package. All of those things are to my benefit. I don't see a problem with that. I honestly feel like this is because Amazon and the Ring, there's not doing anything worse than any other doorbell camera. And I feel like there is some subtext targeting Amazon on all this. I'll be honest with you. Because
Amazon is the one that is actively reaching out to police, to police stations, forming partnerships with the police.
It's a neighborhood watch program.
It's a surveillance program by the government, man.
We used to have that when you would have neighborhood watches.
By the company that supports ICE and does surveillance on anyone crossing the border. I mean, it just continues to fall into numerous ethical quandaries, especially because there are other police forces that Amazon has partnered with that have been how can we use the Ring cameras in order to do facial recognition?
Well, if you don't trust the police and you don't trust big companies and you don't trust hackers, it sounds like we got a problem here.
Harris, I love you so much because Leo, this is just flying right over your head. Okay, so it's not about the police. It's about working on the person to give that information to the police. If I got my house broken into, sure, let's share that information with the police. But the police can't just come willy-nilly wanting to go in and out and have this kind of partnership behind my back because my devices are connected in a system that shouldn't be allowed to happen.
You have to allow this, by the way. I never allowed my Ring video to be distributed to my neighbors or to the police. And you do have to turn that on.
They don't really need a warrant to get access to that.
I think they do if you don't enable it. They have to come to you and say, look, I want access to it. Are you saying Amazon's just giving it to them no matter what?
I don't trust Amazon. This is America.
Yeah.
I feel I read Carolyn's articles. I've read the other articles, and I feel like there's a lot of innuendo. Like, this doesn't sound right. This doesn't seem good. But what I'd like to see is an example of police turning on those cameras without the knowledge or awareness of the homeowner.
Police can get your Ring doorbell footage without a warrant, report says. This is a Ars Technica article.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do they get it?
Reported last week that Ring is tapping directly into real-time 911 dispatch data, which it then uses to curate crime news for its app.
Well, of course they're tapping into 911 data. That's their data.
It has access to the sort of data, and then it uses an API call to pull the address or GPS coordinates of the call. And then, where is this? Hold on. Where's the part that says the warrant stuff?
So what I'm reading in the Gizmodo article is it says that the police can request data and it sends a notification to people using the Neighbor app. So that's a separate app, not just
which
a
you have
Ring
to opt
application.
into. Yes.
And then people can choose to decline. Now, personally, I would very much like to see that flipped. It should be I have to manually go in and say, yes, share this data with the police. Thank you.
Yeah.
Instead of, no, I don't want to share my data with the police. That feels like the wrong way around, assuming guilt rather than innocence. But it also doesn't tell the police who refused
Amazon has said.
But it's not refusing to cooperate. That's just not volunteering information. There's
Amazon
a difference.
says, and it continues to say, that Ring users must volunteer to share their footage in response to a police request. That police can go to Ring and request footage. Customers can choose to opt out or decline any request, and law enforcement agencies have no visibility into which customers have received a request and which have opted out or declined. The big concern that I see is that once they get the video, there's no restrictions on what they can do with it. They don't, there's no deletion time frame and so forth. But it's not like they're just saying, well, let's turn on Leo's camera and see what's on his front porch. That's not happening.
And just a side note before I finish up with this story anyway, that guy that tapped into that little girl's room and played Tiptoeing Through the Tulips, if anybody's watched the movie Insidious with the little kids and they play that song with the little demon kid running through the house, if that would have been my child, we'd have jumped out a window, I'd have burnt the house down. Because that song scared the mess.
I grew up watching Tiny Tim on Johnny Carson singing that song, Marrying Miss Vicky. It was beautiful, it was harmless, it was sweet.
In the movie, have you seen Insidious?
I never saw Insidious. I'm not going to see it. I don't go see that stuff. It pollutes your mind.
It's in the first 20 minutes. Just watch it, Uncle Leo. When the little kid's running and he's jumping in the closet and that music's playing and they keep putting it on the record. The mom comes, turns the record off, and then Tiptoeing comes back on. Man, it is scary. I heard that music. I'm like, that person is the devil, and he is trying to get his child a heart attack. He gave me a heart attack. So watch it through the screen. It was evil.
I want to take a break, and then I'm going to bring up a privacy breach that I think is much more significant. I feel like there is a concerted effort to put Amazon out of the doorbell business for some reason. And I'm not convinced that their reasons are good, or that the Ring doorbell is somehow worse than Google's doorbell, or there are a half dozen doorbell cameras out there. And
they should force people to update their password every 6 months or something, because you're right. Most people don't do it at all. And that's the biggest problem. So and you try to explain that to regular people and they don't care.
Yeah, I think the better solution is if somebody tries to set a password that's, in have I been pawned, they have an API for this where you can submit a username and password and it will go, no.
Chrome now does that.
this is an invalid combination. By the way, change everywhere else you're using this password. Take a bit of responsibility on as a company as well to educate your users.
Google is
you're
doing
selling
that
this
in
technology
Chrome.
to.
That was just added to the latest version of Chrome. It says that password that you're using is bad. That's why we really encourage a password manager. It's and generate a new password every single time. Let's take a break, but I do want to talk about the worst thing, and I think far worse than anything Amazon's done with the Ring cameras. That's coming up in just a second. But first, let's talk about how to use a better browser. Yes, Chrome is fine. In fact, a lot of us have used Chrome for years because that's the standard on the web. Wouldn't it be nice if I could get all the benefits of Chrome, all the features of the Chrome browser without the Google privacy, invasions? Well, you can, and it's called Brave. Brave is a better browser, a next-generation browser. It's based on the Chromium code base. So every time Google pushes an update to Chrome, you'll get an update to Brave. You'll get all the latest stuff. But they've taken out the bad stuff. It's created by a team, the Brave team, focused on privacy. And by the way, when you take out ads, you take out extra JavaScript, you get a faster browser, up to 6 times faster than the competitors. You get a safer browser. You use less data. It blocks trackers. In fact, all you have to do is go in the Brave browser, go to the settings. It's a fabulous browse through all of the amazing things you can do, all the trackers you can block. You can cross-site, upgrade all your connections to HTTPS. You can still use all your Chrome plugins, but there's so many I no longer use. I don't need uBlock Origin. I don't need HTTPS everywhere. I don't need NoScript. I can turn off scripts. I can block all device recognition. I can block cookies, cross-site cookies, all cookies. This one, I didn't turn it off yet, but I'm going to turn off Facebook logins and embedded posts. These are off by default. Allow Twitter embedded tweets. These are all surveillance techniques. Allow LinkedIn embedded posts. Those are turned off on mine. I use Start Page instead of Google as my search. I just think Brave is fantastic. And it is so good for people who care about privacy but don't want to give up compatibility. It's easy to set up. You just one click, you can switch browsers efficiently, copy all your bookmarks over. Brave Sync means all of your bookmarks will automatically get copied over. You're going to save battery life, reduce data costs on mobile. Mac, Windows, Linux, Android, iOS, wherever you are, there is a Brave browser. I make it my default everywhere. I'm using it right now. The one thing I always feel guilty about, because we're an ad-supported network, when I go to a site like imore.com or Verge or whatever, I'm blocking ads, so I'm taking money out of their mouth, and I want to keep using those sites. Brave's kind of come up with a great solution for this. They call them BAT tokens, basic attention tokens. And it's a way you can still give publishers back their fair share of web revenue without seeing intrusive, security-risking ads. You can buy BAT tokens with cash, or, and I like this idea, and you don't have to do any of this, but you can, opt into Brave's privacy-respecting ads. These are ads that don't show up on the browser page, but show up as notifications. You can click them or not, but as you see these ads, you'll earn BAT tokens, and then you can give them to the sites that you visit as a way of paying them without having to see their ads. Yesterday was about big tech. Today is about us. Brave, that's the best browser. Faster, more secure, and they are really doing a great job at Brave. Brave.com/twit. I know you probably just want to Google Brave and download it. Do me a favor, go to brave.com/twit. That way you're going to let them know you saw it here. 1.0 just came out, their big out of beta release, and it's just fantastic. Brave.com/twit.
Just downloaded it, and I'm zooming on.
Oh, you'll like it. Yeah, you'll like it.
It's fast. I just went to like 2 pages I know are really still loading, and it was really nice.
Yeah. This one, to me, was more of a shock than the Ring doorbell thing. Although, and I will point out, I don't use the Ring doorbell anymore. I use the Nest Home doorbell. But as I also pointed out, that could even be worse. Just because they don't have the Neighbors app doesn't mean... And part of the problem is that when law enforcement comes to a company like Google or Amazon and says, one hopes with a warrant, we want this information, they have no way to say no, right? So this is one I think I wish Google had fought. There was a firebug in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Set a number of fires through 2018 and 2019, $50,000 in property damage, killed a couple of dogs. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms went to Google and said, we want every user device within 29,000 square meters of those fires.
It has location history turned on.
Yeah. Well, during a total of 9 hours. So they collected, if you've got location history turned on, which is on by default, if you're using Google Maps, if you're using many Google services, it's on. They collected 1,500 names of people who were around when these fires were set. The ultimate fishing expedition. And then apparently Google looks through its Sensor Vault database. It provides that information. The police then look through the list, decide which devices are of interest, and ask for subscriber information, name, email address, when they sign up to Google services, which services they used. A lot of information. So initially the police get anonymized data, and then the police apparently have the opportunity to ask for unanonymized data. In fact, in this case, according to Forbes, investigators asked for information on 6 users, and Google provided it. So a very nice, handy tool. Makes the police job easier. It also makes every innocent person within, 30,000 square meters a suspect. What do you think?
Feels like they're building a haystack to find a needle in many ways.
That's a good way to put
it. Because, they started with 1,500 people and they then got further details on 6. That said, I don't know how rural this area of Milwaukee is. In Wisconsin, I'm guessing fairly, so it might have been a lot of legwork to do this by hand, and I don't know whether or not they would have managed it if they'd been doing everything on foot. But at the same time, so many people don't know that this feature is enabled on their phone, Android or iPhone. They think maybe they're safe because they've got passwords and stuff. And then it turns out that no, some company can just hand their data over to the police without them saying yes or no, because they agreed to 340 pages of terms and conditions that they just swipe, tap, done.
In general, you think of the world of criminals, and they always say criminals are stupid. What about the criminals who are just turning off their phone or don't take their devices with them, and now you're looking for that needle in a haystack? And I don't know. They're going to do it, and if they go about it the right way, they get a warrant and they go through the procedures. I guess there's not much you can say about it. But it's just interesting that they think that, we're just going to track all these phones. Like, I guess every criminal's out here taking selfies while they're setting buildings on fire or shooting people. And that they need their phone to go get the information from them. And mind you, there are criminals or kids are posting stuff on Instagram, smoking weed, playing with guns. I get that. But I mean, in general, just to be, we're just going to search all the devices. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
The Jerome Greco is a public defender in the digital forensics unit of the Legal Aid Society, was quoted in the Forbes story saying geofence warrants are overly broad and endanger user privacy. The number of phones identified in that area shows 2 key points. 1, it demonstrates a sample of how many people's minute-by-minute movements Google is precisely tracking. I think anybody listening to our shows knows that. 2, it shows the unconstitutional nature of reverse location search warrants because they inherently invade the privacy of numerous people who everyone agrees are unconnected to the crime being investigated for the mere possibility it may help identify a suspect. The police liken it to a camera recording in a bank robbery. It records everybody in the bank, most of whom are victims, innocent victims, but it helps the police figure out who the robbers are.
How many of these people were residents of the area?
Well, we don't know because there have been no arrests.
Well, and that's the other thing. The person got away with it for so long, and they've got to avoid the Nest cams, the Ring cams, the person seeing them down the street walking their dog, being nosy. So again, this criminal obviously is rather bright and avoiding police detection. And so much so that even doing this has still not caught that person by violating other people's rights to do so. Like I said, I don't want to be the one to go against, crime and trying to find somebody who's out here killing dogs. But at the same time, like, you got to do better police work. Like, there's got to be other things you can do.
Yeah, Google can't be doing all of the work for you.
No.
ATF,
Who broke into my house? Let me Google it.
The ATF, of course, had no comment, but 2 suspects were named in warrants. None of them have been charged at the time of this Forbes article. Google says we fight these. We only give this information when we absolutely legally have to. And I'm sure that that's the case. I don't think Google, Apple, anybody wants to. Maybe Amazon does. I don't know. Maybe that's the difference.
Yeah, I guess the I don't know, message here is that Google, if you're using Google Maps or whatever, it's probably tracking this information. You should go in, turn off location services on that, or at least the live location data. Because, I mean, in addition to this, I feel like this data I've seen, it's often kind of the center of a lot of controversy. There was, I feel like a Reddit post on our relationships, my favorite drama-filled subreddit, that was something to the effect of Google Maps data is ruining my trust in my marriage was the headline. And it was a woman who, her husband, she'd always thought he'd been faithful, goes on a lot of work trips. He lost his phone, so she was trying to look at his Google location data to see where it went, and saw that every time he went on a trip out of state for work, he was actually at an apartment across the city for the whole weekend.
Busted.
But I mean, yeah, it gets all of us if you don't turn it off. It tracks down to like the block of where you are, down to the
I'm not
apartment.
speaking from experience here, but it is a lot harder to cheat now. This is not personal experience, but just as the police can use these devices, so can spouses. And you really are carrying a surveillance device in your pocket with a microphone, a camera, GPS, a log of everywhere you've been, everything you've done.
And even if you control those elements like I do when I wear my full hat and I go out and commit atrocious crimes, I go out in my silver suit, you still got to worry about other people's phones and devices and surveillance cameras and such.
Are you really looking glass? You're looking glass, aren't you? I knew it. I knew you were.
Everybody's got a cell phone out there. So, even if you thought, I'm going to leave my phone at home while I cheat on my wife, and you go out to a restaurant, somebody else is going to be snapping a picture real quick.
Oh,
so, I mean, again, it's not that cheating is the biggest thing in the world, but it's just weird that everyone is watching everything. I posted a video the other day of a woman going to a gas station and filling up a shopping bag full of gasoline.
What?
She tied it off, put it on the ground, went to her trunk. She went to her trunk, got another grocery bag, double bagged it, tied it off, and put it in her trunk. And the video ends. And all I wanted was this person to follow this woman home. I needed to know what happened.
Oh, my God.
Did she have a body to burn and she had limited time? Like, that was not an approved plastic container for her to put in the trunk of her SUV. My mind is breaking, and I just need to know the rest of that story.
Did she light up a cigarette as she got in the car? Because that would have been an interesting ending.
It's the most weirdest thing I've ever seen. I mean, the bag was literally seeping gasoline out of it, and she thought, I'll just double bag it, and then puts it in the trunk of her car. I'm like, whoever's filming it, follow her, please. Just follow her. Craziness.
For the interest of public safety, I think you kind of have to there.
Yeah, I need to know the rest of that story.
Apparently, this video has made it worldwide. I don't.
There you go.
That's you.
That's her. That's not me. I didn't film it. I just shared it because it was so amazing.
Okay.
It was me. I would have followed her. I need to know what's going on. I'd have asked her if I could help. Like, you need me to help you?
She's getting those
what are we doing?
Kroger fuel points. So it really is true. Oh, geez, this is such a bad idea.
This is so upsetting.
Oh my God.
What's she doing though?
Well, maybe she just didn't have a gas can and she needed to.
Don't they sell gas cans at gas stations in the U.S.?
Yes.
Like they do everywhere else I've been.
But look and watch. See, she goes to double bag it.
Well, that's safe.
She's like, let me double bag it.
That's a good idea. Oh, she has no idea what she's playing with here.
I need to know, did she live? Did somebody burn? Did she just need to fill up?
It looks like it was splashing gas out of it.
Yes, it's leaking. That's what I said. It's crazy.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
But everybody's got a camera. And look at her. Look. She's putting it in the trunk. Why? Why? It's so crazy. I need to know. Does this story say what happened? Does anybody know? I got it. Well, I didn't read it. I just did the video thing. But look at that. It's amazing. If you're on audio right now, you got to come to the show and watch this video.
Wow. Okay. Well, now you can pretty much imagine it, I think. All right. Yeah, you're right. I feel bad for kids these days because they can't do anything. My kids hated living in a small town because the chances of them running into a neighbor when they were, drinking the 50-cent vodka was high. But with video cameras, you can't get away with anything anywhere anymore.
Especially because nowadays, parents are installing those surveillance apps on all their kids' phones, like Life 360 and whatnot, that, I don't know, if you're speeding in a car, it will send an alert to your parents. It shows your live location at all times. And if you turn off your phone or disconnect from it, it'll send an alert and the kid will be grounded, which is insane to me. I mean, it just seems beyond belief that kids these days and, for I guess the last decade or so, now have to just live in a world where you're constantly being surveilled at all times.
The real problem with doing that is you're just getting the kids used to the idea. Mm-hmm. So they now grow up as citizens and they go, well, what's the big idea? I've always been spied on my whole life.
Yeah. I mean, how I even found out about Life 360 is through TikTok videos where Life 360 was a trending hashtag on TikTok for a while. And it was TikTok videos of kids instructing other kids on how to fix your device in a certain way that it shows Life 360 that you're still online in an approved area, but really you can be somewhere else. So, I mean,
this is going to be an okay boomer moment. What's the deal with TikTok?
It's great.
It's awful.
Have you downloaded it?
Yes, I keep trying to watch it. It's just
everything on the internet is awful.
It's awful. It's just clip after clip of awfulness, one after the other. It's an assault of awfulness.
You have to go through the For You page until you find something that you kind of like, and then you have to like it or
I'm not curating this crap.
And then
curated crap is still crap.
The algorithm will quickly send you to a place that you enjoy. Have you seen the Washington Post's TikTok account?
No, I have
TikTok account.
No.
It is quite good. It's a lot of good.
There's also Instagram feeds of curated TikTok videos, which I've been informed are quite good. And I like the idea of somebody else doing the curation for me because I'm very lazy. That said, I've still not really tried TikTok.
You said the important thing, Theo, Paris, which is the internet is full of crap. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Everything is bad. This is have you seen the kombucha TikTok video? The woman trying kombucha for the first time.
I don't.
So let me just fix you right now, Uncle Leo. Let me just fix it.
Here's the lady. This is her first time watching.
You're gonna love it.
It really smells like a public restroom.
Now, you folks at home, you tell me if I'm missing anything by not.
It smells like a public restroom.
Is this the one you're talking about?
You know what?
Yes. Wait.
No. Well.
That's it?
That's something I had to see?
So just let me fix it for you, Uncle Leo. First of all, do you like music, Uncle Leo? Yes or no question?
You're talking about musically. Yes, I like music.
Yes, so you like music. That's first and foremost. Secondly, earlier, didn't we both together say you can't handle the truth?
Yeah.
Didn't you know that line, right?
Yeah,
you like it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
that's
TikTok
what
the
TikTok
truth?
is.
TikTok is not the truth.
TikTok is quotables and it's music. And that video of that chick is just a random video you can find anywhere on any platform. So it doesn't get relegated to just TikTok. It just happened to air on TikTok first. But generally, if you like music and you like quoting things, TikTok is fine. You're just being old and grumpy. It's the same thing that you look at on everything else that you do when you quote anything or say anything that you've heard throughout your lifetime. So you, sir, are already a TikTok. You're a dinosaur TikTok, but you be TikTok every time you sing along to a song or you say you can't handle the truth. You have just been TikTok. So you like it. Don't complain about it. Okay, boom.
Do you want to watch the top 10?
Notable about TikTok is that you can like you create memes and respond to things via sounds. Like, I don't know, let's say if like you can't handle the truth, like a clip was featuring that, people would remix.
No, I get it. It's not that I don't understand it. I just think it's stupid. Here are the most, this is TikTok's year in review, the most viral clips on TikTok. We'll watch a couple of them.
Oh, the bear, that's my favorite. I love a bear.
Here's a bear. The guy's in a bear suit at the top of the stairs. Oh, it's not playing. It's not playing. You know, sometimes
gotta get a $50,000 mask.
Let me go to the TikTok site and see if it'll play off of that. Here is the top 10.
Full screen.
Yeah, I think sometimes Brave blocks this. Thank you, Brave. Celebrities. Here's the top 10 breakout creators. The top 10 dance trends. Top 10 creative effects. This is from TikTok itself. Does it bother you it's owned by Tencent, a Chinese company? Does that bother you at all? You think they're Ring doorbell. Oh, they're spying on you. TikTok is nice. It's fun.
I mean, every company is spying on us. Every company is bad, in my opinion. I think that a lot of the outrage and
they're going to pour something into this.
Hold on.
Let's see what happens. Okay, they're pouring something. Oh my God. That's horrible. Whatever happened there? It was some sort of weird chemical.
It's elephant toothpaste.
It's elephant toothpaste in a very big. Here's the bear suit daredevil. He is wearing a bear suit at the top of the fuzzy stairs.
I bet you wonder where I've been. To find.
Okay, he slid down the stairs. Now he's going to ride a bicycle. Oh, zoom! Gee, that doesn't seem smart. But that's it. That's the whole thing. Yeah, he made viral content. They don't. Do they have 619,000 likes?
15-second video. Yeah. It is what it was.
Here's
everything
one. It is what it was, which is not worth my time. Here's somebody putting shaving cream in his Crocs.
One second.
Okay. See, that's the content you create.
This is what's wrong with America right now. It's idiocracy.
There's just people throwing cheese on other people in their homes. It's wonderful. To YMCA.
I erased it from my phone because I realized I was spending time watching stuff like that.
What else are you doing while you're in a bathroom or like taking a nap?
For real.
Here he is feeding hummingbirds. And the whole thing about the music is you use clips. You can reuse people's clips. I bet it's really good for the artists, right?
Yes.
Because they get a lot of...
Like you get... Like, that's kind of where Old Town Road came from, was TikTok.
Right. Yeah,
it makes
that's
a
right.
lot of songs
that
go
made
viral.
Lil Nas X a star, right? TikTok.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Maybe this will make the Cordettes a star.
Oh, I love it.
It's a kitty cat.
Mr. Sanders.
Oh, they're laughing in the studio. It's obviously a hit.
It's great.
See?
I'll probably get better numbers if I'd start playing this stuff.
Like 20 times, yeah.
But then what happens with TikTok is I never saw that. I saw the derivative videos, including like Hillary Clinton or somebody doing the same thing. You know, if you have a team, they'll come to you and say, "Well, we've got you just have to do this, and then we'll make this video." And
yep, that's what they do. They ruin everything. Marketers ruin everything.
well, is it not the case that TikTok's getting overrun by celebrities now and brands?
There are a lot of brands on TikTok.
It's the same as everything else. Snapchat has brands on it. Instagram has brands on it. But when you're following a core group of people, you're following them. And not for nothing, I spy on my daughter's phone directly with her because we do it together. But I look at all the stuff that they're following, these kids are following, and they're not really looking at any of these brands. It's for older people. They're like, oh, I want to be friends with The Rock. And the kids are like, okay, if he's on the main feed, I'll watch it. But they're not really following to see what The Rock is posting. You know, they might look at a musical artist or you know, they're more likely to follow YouTube stars or a girl doing makeup tutorials than they are following these celebrities and brands. So, I mean, they're on every platform. It is what it is. But it's very interesting. If you can get your hands on a 12 to 14-year-old kid, just ask them what they're looking at, and you will see a whole new world of content and information and where you need to be if you are a marketer and how you could get tapped into those kids.
We do have our own TikTok. I've just been informed.
They don't have you dancing in the hallways, Uncle Leo?
Apparently they do.
Try and find a lot of good tech people on TikTok. I'm trying to remember the name of an account, but there's one account that I spent like an hour watching. It was just somebody who works at a computer repair shop, and they'll do like really fascinating videos about what disgusting computer they're brought in and how he fixes it. Or
so it's not a 6-second or a 15-second. It's a longer TikTok, obviously.
You can stitch videos together, yes.
Yeah, a minute, but it's kind of brought, like, it's really, really fast. There was one where he built a computer himself, like the most bare minimum parts, and then submerged it entirely in wax from candles, slowly but surely.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Wanted to see how much wax he could put on it before it like stopped working. And I watched probably like 6 videos of him pouring wax in this computer.
Here is our TikTok, and I am handing out holiday cards to our staff. I didn't even know this existed. There you go, Karsten. Here's your bonus. It's a Matchbox car. Jeez Louise. I had no idea they were doing this.
Okay, Uncle Leo. You're going to CES in January, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to fly out in February.
You want to see a TikTok? You want to see a TikTok of how this studio got decorated? Look at this. Look at this. This is how the studio got decorated. They brought in all the garbage, the poinsettias.
They brought in all the garbage.
All the Santa barfed on the studio. Here we come. Apparently, we keep all that stuff in a cabinet all year long.
At least you recycle. Recycling.
So these aren't real poinsettias? I thought they looked awfully healthy.
Oh, I found it. Hold on, I'm gonna message.
All right, you got it. You got the ultimate TikTok. She's gonna send it on to us. Here we go.
Oh, let me find. Where did it just go? Hold on.
This is our Boomer Minute.
I can't see your Skype chat,
last one.
Paris. Just drop it into the doc. Drop it at
we're
the
losing a lot of
end of others.
All right, when we come back, Paris's best TikTok of 2019. How about that, Paris Martineau?
All right,
How about that? Get it ready for us. Meanwhile, let me talk about our sponsor, ExpressVPN. Now, it's interesting, isn't it, that a lot of our sponsors this week are about privacy, about security. A lot of our stories are about privacy and privacy invasion. I guess there's something going on here. ExpressVPN is my choice for a VPN. They're trustworthy. They are audited by an independent third party who verifies their privacy policy, verifies that their trusted server technology saves nothing so that you're never logged. Nobody's recording your visit or your use of ExpressVPN. I like that. I like their price. It's very affordable. I'm going to show you a way you can make it even more affordable, about $7 a month. By the way, you may say, well, I can get a free VPN. No. Do not get a free VPN. A free VPN, everybody runs a VPN. There are costs. They're making money somehow. And if they're not charging you, they're making money somehow. They're injecting ads into your stream. They're seeing what you do. They're doing something to monetize you. ExpressVPN, they don't do any of that. They can't. They literally, technically can't. It also is a really great way to expand your TV horizons, your movie horizons, because you can use ExpressVPN to be in any country of the world. There are ExpressVPN servers all over the world. So, for instance, you could binge on Doctor Who or Star Trek by just firing up ExpressVPN, changing your location to the UK, refreshing Netflix. Suddenly, you're seeing the UK Netflix. ExpressVPN hides your IP address, lets you control where you want sites to think you're coming from. If you love anime, use ExpressVPN to access Japanese Netflix. You get all the Japanese anime TV shows. It's fantastic. And it's not just Netflix. ExpressVPN works with any streaming service. Hulu, BBC's iPlayer, YouTube, you name it. Just another great reason to use ExpressVPN. It's fast. One of the reasons Netflix says we don't want you to use a VPN, they even admit this. They say, well, the only reason is because it's going to slow you down. It's not going to be a good experience. Not ExpressVPN. HD video streams in beautifully at full speed. The other day, I was demonstrating this on iOS today, and I was showing how I could watch Japanese Netflix on ExpressVPN. I forgot to turn it off. I downloaded the iOS 13 updates. I surfed around. I didn't even notice. It's that fast. It's just amazing. Works with all your devices, not just your phones and your computers, but your media consoles, even your smart TVs. So you can watch what you want on the go or on the big screen wherever you are. Right now, we're going to get you an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN when you sign up for the year package. So that's a really great deal when you go to expressvpn.com/twit. expressvpn.com/twit. It's the #1 most trusted VPN. It's the one I recommend, the one I use. It's fast and it's really great. expressvpn.com/twit. Do we have Paris Martineau's TikTok of the year?
It's a TikTok series, honestly. This is one of the last.
Oh, this is the one where he puts it in wax?
Yeah, so he's already put like 4 or 5 tubs of wax on this computer, but it's still working.
Oh my God.
And it's worked. It's great.
That wasn't good. Shut right off. Oh no, and it's leaking like crazy. Oh boy. I have officially made a huge mess. Way easier to clean up.
So you'll instead of watching Game of Thrones, you'll stay at home of a long winter's night and you'll watch this.
Oh yeah, I think I spent like a good 30 minutes one evening watching all these parts. Great.
No way.
It worked.
It's not over yet. Booting the Windows.
Was he trying to kill it?
It will be fully encased.
He's trying to fully encase
less at a time.
In wax?
Yeah.
Why not? Does he know that's bad for the thermals?
This is going to take a while. My phone literally died in the middle of the second part.
I don't think he cares.
But I do have a second tray of wax.
Where did he even
ready
think
to
of
go,
this?
Finally. Let's get it poured
Who
on.
would think of this?
All right, I'm sorry, but that's the best angle we're going to get.
This is why I despair for the future of this country.
Does TikTok only support portrait videos, by the way?
Shut right off. Oh no.
What do you mean? What's wrong with portrait videos, Rosemary Orchard?
Oh boy.
I'm used to landscape. I mean, I'm sitting here and I am in a landscape frame.
How do you hold your phone? Do you hold your phone sideways?
When I'm taking video, yes.
See, you're a good human being. You're a proper person, but you live in a world that is the antithesis and the exact opposite of you. Because every time you see a fight video, every time you see a house on fire, the person stands there and films like this. No one in their right mind ever does what you want them to do and turn the camera. No one does it. They go, "Oh, look at the fire! Oh, look at that guy!" No one ever just turns their phone. Only professionals recording video and podcast turn their cameras the right side. But everybody who shoots on their phone shoots like this, and it drives me crazy. Don't bring it up again because people are stupid and no one does the right thing.
I think people are right. It should be vertical. That's the screen you're looking at, the screen you're shooting with. That's how people are watching it. Paris Martineau, when you watch
so much
TikTok,
real estate,
you're
Uncle
not
Leo.
watching it like that. You're not losing real estate. You're getting the tall angle. It fills
it's all
the screen.
Tall, it all fills my screen. Yeah.
It fills the screen.
You were lucky I don't have gaffer's tape right now.
There's zero loss.
I'm about to put it over my 50-millimeter camera. Where's my gaffer's tape at? I'm going to make you watch me the rest of this episode in portrait mode.
I have boxes around here.
Actually, John, back me up. When we first set up our avatar setup, we wanted to do it in portrait mode because that would be the natural way for people to be seated. And it was we had to get special devices to do that, unfortunately. So
special devices.
Well, yeah, because you can't just rotate the screen and everything will arrange itself. You have to get a device that feeds the screen portrait video. And actually, maybe today you could do that.
Because they do it on the sports show that I watch where they crop them in like that because they have 4 people side by side and the one person speaking to the 4 and they do have them in that vertical.
So John, let's get to work.
Let's do it, Uncle Leo. 2020, let's do it.
2020 vertical video for all. You just contradicted yourself. I just want to say something.
Oh, I'm angry about it and I'm not liking it at all. And when you put me on that, I'm going to shrink my projection to make me so.
See, we're wasting all this side space on you. I want to get the vertical.
Yeah. Why do you want to see my
I don't want to see that. I want to see more of Paris.
Oh. I'm a little bit bigger than you ladies, so I'm already ultra wide. I don't know if I'm gonna fit inside that portrait screen. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I might push the boundaries on that, you know.
Did we do a best of video from the week? Do you have that?
We did not. We're too busy doing best of videos for the entire year.
I should mention that. Yeah, so the way this is going to work, Christmas in the United States, I don't know how it is in Vienna, but Christmas in the United States is on December 25th, which is a Wednesday. So I'm not going to make anybody work on New Year's Eve. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our New Year's Eve shows December 23rd, Monday. So that's Windows Weekly. That's This Week in Google. What else do we do on Wednesday? All about, Ham Nation, right? I don't remember. Anyway, all our Wednesday shows will be taped on Monday, and we'll release them at the same time. And then the studio will then go dark from the 24th, Christmas Eve, through January 2nd, which is a Thursday. So everybody gets to go home, but you're going to get new shows because what you're going to get for Twit and for all of our shows, you're going to get best of. So clips from the year, highlights. We did, as some of you already know, we did a special holiday Twit with Stacey Higginbotham, Mary Jo Foley, and Micah Sargent. That was a look back at the decade. That's really a fun show. So when is that going to air, Carson? That'll air
a week from today.
Next week.
Next week.
So I don't have to come in next Sunday?
You don't have to come. Please don't come in next Sunday.
I think you're wrong. I don't have to be here next Sunday?
On the 22nd. On the 22nd.
You can do the tech guy. How about
I'll do the radio
show,
but then I'll go home. Well, instead of doing Twit. So next week will be our year decade in review. That's the 22nd. Then 29th will be the best of. So all the week from Christmas Eve through the day after New Year's Day will be best of episodes. And so that's the promo. A kind of a surprise from Jack this week. Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, tweeted, Twitter is funding a small independent team of up to 5 open source architects, engineers, and designers to develop an open and decentralized standard for social media. The goal is for Twitter to ultimately be a client of this standard.
So has he heard of ActivityPub, which is already an open source and social decentralized system for doing this?
Or Mastodon, which is
which is based on ActivityPub,
is a version of that. In fact, that was the first thing the founder of Mastodon said is, I think we already did that.
Yeah. There's a couple of open standards that are already out there, W3C standards. There's the IndieWeb, which has a variety of systems for integrating between independent platforms, such as web mentions, where I can reply to something somebody else has posted on my website, and it sends their website a notification to say, hi, this is relevant to you and to this post. So I'm very curious as to why he thinks that his small independent team of 5 open source architects and engineers and designers are going to do better than people have been working on literally for the last decade of the open web.
I'll tell you exactly
why.
No, not control. Get the president off his back. It gets if it's a decentralized system, then Twitter is no longer responsible for the content on Twitter. And so everybody who's been complaining that Twitter needs to do a better job patrolling and policing, the people on the right who say Twitter blocks conservative thought, the people on the left who say Twitter allows neo-Nazis, both will be shut up because Jack can say, oh, it's not my fault. And in fact, I have to point out, ActivityPub, Mastodon specifically, there are specific Nazi servers. It's a federated system, so anybody could set up a server. And there are Nazi servers. There are servers for escorts, for prostitution. And nobody's responsible for it. You don't have to follow it. You don't have to see it. But because nobody's responsible for it, anything goes. And I think that that's the real reason for this. Dave Weiner, who created RSS and has been very active in all of this. In fact, I remember Dave has been lobbying Twitter for some time to open up, tweeted, I'd like to see Twitter do this in a different way. You already have the bugs and scaling issues solved for a global notification network. Let's add a few APIs and create a new universe. In other words, let the hub, the core, be the existing Twitter servers, but create an API so people can create their own apps, create their own instances, create their own Twitters, in effect.
I mean, this is exactly what Twitter has been doing the opposite of for the last couple of years. They've been shutting down their APIs. They've not been letting developers access people. They've removed RSS feeds from Twitter accounts. And they've done everything basically to try and break decentralization as far as Twitter goes. And this is causing more problems. If they want to start with decentralization, then they need to bring back the things that they've taken away and actually help developers, because that's the only way that they're going to be able to decentralize themselves. And if they need to fix their harassment and abuse problems, which I think we can all agree that they do, then they probably need to be looking at what other systems are already out there for handling this. Because guess what? This is not the first place on the internet that has had this problem and is dealing with this problem. They may be dealing with it at a larger scale, but that doesn't mean it's necessary to reinvent the wheel every time you run into the same problem.
You know what this reminds me of?
You don't agree with me about control, but I think that it has something to do with that. And if Twitter wants to fix something, give me 15 seconds to spell check myself when I'm typing angrily real quick and I post something. Fix that for me before you go bring in your own team to decentralize what's going on. Okay.
Because I think one of the benefits of Twitter is that people cannot edit their tweets. The premise
I just need 10 seconds when I say you
got
can't
10
even say what I
seconds
be
between
saying.
posting and it actually going up is what you want.
Yeah. Just give me 10
Like
second
the
reviews
undo
so I can
send
just
feature
real
in Gmail.
quick.
Yeah, like the undo feature on Gmail. Yeah.
Just give me a second. I'm angry sometimes. I'm typing fast. And then they're missing my joke and my anger and grammar Nazi in me, and I can't take it because they're missing the whole point of the very astute thing that I tried to post on Twitter. Fix that, Jack.
Go ahead, Paris.
Oh, I was just saying, then you're going to miss the dopamine hit of getting likes a few seconds after you post. What are you going to do without those? You'll think content's dying.
I need that like. You're right, I do. But Instagram told me I don't need likes anymore, so I'm starting to brave on and soldier on as an individual who doesn't solidify and gratify themselves upon people clicking a button. Thank you, Instagram.
What this reminds me of very much, and it's not a surprise, is Mark Zuckerberg's announcement on Facebook that they were going to create an end-to-end encrypted Facebook. It is for the same exact reasons. Twitter, Facebook.
The FCC might stop Facebook from doing that, though.
Well, okay, then we'll talk about that. That's another issue because, of course, the law enforcement wants to be able to see into Facebook because they think that's going to help them catch criminals. But his idea of the end-to-end encryption was just like Jack's idea of an open source federated Twitter is to evade responsibility for the problems that these platforms have created.
The coolest thing on Facebook is when you're that's real quick. The coolest thing on Facebook is when you're messaging a Zuckerberg and you go back and try to look at the messages and somehow yours and their messages have been deleted and you didn't do it. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. That's how we play it. Okay. They got special tools over there. So it's really interesting when they do stuff like that.
Facebook
talking about encryption
did send an open letter to U.S. Attorney Bill Barr and leaders in UK and Australia. The letter was written by Will Cathcart, head of WhatsApp, and Stan Chudnovsky, the head of Messenger, responding to the request from the U.S., the UK, and the Australian government for backdoors in the encryption protocols. Remember, Barr gave a speech saying they've got to do this. He's been lobbying hard for it, as have the head of the FBI and other law enforcement agencies. This is the quote from Cathcart and Chudnovsky. It's simply impossible to create such a backdoor for one purpose, law enforcement, and not expect others to try and open it. You do this, people's private messages would be less secure, and the real winners would be anyone seeking to take advantage of that weakened security. This is not something we are prepared to do. In other words, they're saying no. I don't know if they'll get to say no.
Yeah, and there's also the issue with this was earlier this week or last week. The Federal Trade Commission is reportedly considering seeking a preliminary injunction against Facebook to prevent the social network from integrating Facebook, WhatsApp, and Messenger services on the grounds that it might make it much harder / impossible to break the company up if they do find that that's necessary.
Do you think the government should get involved in this? Or, I mean, honestly, if you don't want that, just don't use Facebook. Right?
But I mean, at a certain point, you can't not use Facebook because if Facebook buys every large competitor or major social media app or communication platform, or creates its own version of it and grows larger and larger, at a certain point you have to be connected to one of these services. And that's kind of what they're trying to look at here, is whether or not Facebook, like I guess the oil companies of yesteryear, have gotten too big and too powerful in a sense that it needs to be broken up in some sense. And we're not sure, of course, what.
I understand that desire, but boy, I really get nervous about the notion of breaking up these big tech companies, because I just don't know if it can be done in a way that's not damaging.
What does Facebook have that we have to use, though, as currently constructed? Like Microsoft, I get you need to use a computer. You have Apple, but like certain things, like what does Facebook own currently that you have to use? Like oil companies, gas companies, certain things like you have to use them. You do still have an option, and not for nothing. And it sounds horrible to say. I'll say it really quickly. I don't want this government currently getting involved in this type of stuff and setting the rules and the parameters.
Any government, I agree, but any government.
But so I said real quick, and just right now, this moment, I just don't want major shakeups happening right now under this regime currently. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Well, I
mean, politicians in general don't understand technology enough to really be able to regulate it. I thought blockchain was the solution for the Northern Ireland border. I think that says it all, right?
Rosemary, are you originally from England?
Yes, I'm originally from just outside of Bristol in the southwest of the UK.
What do you think about Boris Johnson's landslide victory?
I would prefer not to talk about it.
For people who are listening, she just put her head in her hands. I love the idea of Scotland being independent. I might move to Scotland. That's where my people are from. I like that idea. Well, it's just crazy. It's just, but I guess the reason I bring that up is governments go through weird things. I don't think this government, next government, any government should get to do things like that. At the same time, government is an expression of us as a society and what we want these companies to do that's wholesome and best for our society. I just feel like it's easy now not to use Facebook. I don't miss it at all.
And people did in the chat say WhatsApp. And in certain countries, WhatsApp is very heavily solidified.
If you're not using WhatsApp, I bet it's true in Austria, but certainly it's true in a lot of countries. If you're not using WhatsApp, you can't communicate. Everybody else is using it. They're not using text messaging.
What happens if WhatsApp is then merged with Instagram and Facebook? Right. And for a lot of people, I mean, at least one of those apps, if not all three, are kind of necessary to function in social society, if not just regular society. You have to find a way to communicate with your friends and family. All of your friends, family, coworkers, whatnot are on Facebook. I have a younger sister that's going to college, and a lot of the, classes will have Facebook groups, and information is shared in there. Or the only way to get invited to a certain party is if you're following this account on Instagram. And for a lot of people, these have become essential parts of everyday life. And
they should be TikTok parties, because Instagram parties are lame, but I get your point.
I'll give you in a nutshell what worries me. This is not happening here. It's happening in India. The Indian government, the Modi government, has proposed groundbreaking rules to do something like GDPR. This would require technology companies to gain the consent of citizens before they could collect and process their personal data. Yay, team, right? But wait. There's more. At the same time, companies would have to hand over non-personal, quote, data of their users to the government. And New Delhi would also hold the power to collect any data of its citizens without consent to serve the larger public interest. The Personal Data Protection Bill of 2019. There in a nutshell. I rest my case. Because when they say break up big tech, but let's make sure we get our piece of the pie. That's what worries me.
I mean, Facebook can already build a shadow profile of somebody who's only been mentioned like 3 times by first name or something.
Oh, I'm sure they have a big dossier on me. Yeah.
So, if Facebook can manage that, governments already have tons of our information, and they know that it's accurate: birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates, right. When you moved in somewhere, which place you're registered to live at. All of that information is something they already have. Combine that with information from, social networks, and suddenly they can stalk everything you do. And the question is, why do they feel like they need this information? What are they going to do with it? How is this going to serve the larger public interest?
Remember, this is the same Indian government that just said a Muslim cannot be an Indian citizen. So I don't think you have to stretch your imagination too far to imagine what the Modi government wants to do with this information.
And Uncle Leo, then you wonder why I live in a black site. You don't understand what I'm saying?
Just turn off the lights, man. It's getting blacker all the time.
I don't. That's right. I don't want nobody to know what I'm doing out here in these streets, Uncle Leo. Look, you can't find my phone, you can't find my house, you can't find my car, you can't find my address. I'm out here living off the grid, but on the grid, Uncle Leo, and you could do it too.
Yeah, because you're still on this show. You're making a very public appearance. Unless you're actually a small white lady of 73 years old. You might be. I don't know.
Check out my Facebook. My Facebook says I just turned 70 years old. I'm a white man that lives in New York City and vacations in L.A. So, I mean, if you want to go check the stats, my Twitter also looks at me as a white 70-year-old man. Okay, my ads that they put out to me are not for me. Okay, I'm just saying, if you want to try to get my driver's license, my address, you ain't going to get me, Uncle Leo. I'm out here. I'm off the grid, but on the grid, Uncle Leo. Disclosed black site. It's dangerous out here. No ring cam for me.
Don't tempt people here.
I've said it before.
Go to Leo's house.
Hey, look.
I'm tempted.
You can try.
I'm looking forward to a day when Starlink, Elon Musk's 42,000 satellite array, is blocking all astronomy, but giving me high-speed internet at every corner of the world. That will be wonderful. That will be the day. Hey, let's talk about socks. You want to talk about socks? I was saying how we have all these privacy sponsors. Let's take a break from privacy and talk about footwear. The best socks I have ever had. Do you know about Bombas? I love Bombas. Bombas make socks that are just super soft, crazy cozy. They look great. They're stylish. Men don't have a whole lot of ways to show off our plumage. You know, I can buy a funny necktie, or I can wear crazy-ass socks from Bombas. But I wish you could feel this, because they not only look great, but they're like they have padding in them. They're so comfortable. They're made from super soft natural cotton. They have arch support built in. There's a seamless toe, so you don't get that bump at the foot of your shoe. The footbed is cushioned. It's not too thick. It's just comfy. And you can buy them in singles, 3-packs, up to 12-packs if you want. I am literally getting rid of all my other socks and replacing them with Bombas. And I have to do that because now there's a corner of my sock drawer where all the neglected, unused socks go, and I just always pick the Bombas out. So I know it's time. This would be a great gift. It's not too late to give Bombas for the holidays. Bombas.com/twit, BOMBAS.com/twit. They have no-shows. They have ankle, quarter, calf, and knee-high socks. These are the no-shows. And by the way, these are great because unlike maybe the ones your mother used to make you wear, these don't slide around and fall off. They really stay on, and you can wear your pumps or your heels or your loafers without socks. Looks like you're not wearing socks, but you've got very comfortable Bombas on. There are box bundles. There are gift bundles. There are holiday socks. There are, yes, conservative socks, so nobody will know you're wearing Bombas, but I like the patterned ones. By the way, I love Bombas for another reason. They give back. Socks, it turns out, I did not know this, are the #1 most requested item in homeless shelters. And you would know that if you didn't have socks and you had wet feet. For every Bombas purchase you make, Bombas donates a pair of socks to someone in need. So I think this is so great. A great time to give a gift and you'll feel good when you do because you'll know others who need them will get your help. Just the best socks ever. They've really created a demarcation line in my sock drawer. There's Bombas and there's everything else. I only wear the Bombas. Go to Bombas, BOMBAS.com/twit. And to help you with your holiday shopping, 20% off your first purchase today. 20% off. Bombas.com/twit. People have told me about Bombas socks before, and I didn't pay any attention. And boy, am I sorry now. I just love these things.
And it's awesome that they give back. I've gone and helped out at shelters, especially in L.A. or New York, where it gets cold and it rains. Socks are People want socks more than they want shoes. Socks are just so hard to come by and keep dry. Like it was amazing to me how happy people were to just get socks. I'm like, they're just socks. They're like, dude, thank you for a pack of socks. That's great that they get back for that, because that is a major thing that people out there need help with.
Yeah, see, I didn't know, so that makes me feel good. New Orleans, this story broke this morning, brought to its knees by ransomware. It's not clear exactly what happened. This is from NOLA.com. It's kind of scary. This happened on Friday. New Orleans officials sought to contain a cyber attack against its network. It started in the early morning. So what happened, it appears to have started at 5 a.m. City officials first noted, quote, suspicious activity on their network. Employees got to work around 8 a.m. At 11 a.m., announcements over the City Hall public address system saying, turn off your computer, turn off your computer, unplug your computer. The folks at the City Hall said this is the advice we got from our federal and state partners. That's the way our security team has been trained to respond. City technology officials then went from floor to floor to confirm all systems were offline. Now, the headline says ransomware, but they're also saying that the city systems, no data has been lost, no passwords were compromised. An influx of suspicious emails mean the city systems would be kept offline indefinitely. So what it sounds like is they got flooded by phishing attempts, but no city employees fell for it. They had cyber training last fall, and so it's not clear if ransomware was installed or had begun to encrypt anything, with the city is saying we didn't lose anything. This has been, of course, a hot spot for ransomware lately, is city governments, school systems. Often they have insurance. Often they're desperate to get back online, which means they're much more likely to pay the Bitcoin ransom to ransomware attackers. We don't know anything more than that, but yet another ransomware hit. Pretty amazing.
Were they still running Windows XP?
Probably. You mock, but probably they were.
I mean, I'm not mocking. I work for a technical university, and we do still have machines running Windows XP, but they are also isolated on our network, and we have them because they are attached to extremely expensive pieces of equipment, which you don't just replace like that, because the operating system that is attached to the machine that you need to use is out of date, but they are also isolated, and for a very good reason. But I always wonder with things like this, where is the hole that somebody got in? Obviously it's usually a person rather than a system, somebody falling for a phishing attempt or something. But, there would have to be a series of errors, I would hope, for something like that to happen nowadays.
So this was a great story that unfortunately fizzled. At a TechCrunch Disrupt in Berlin, Samsung Electronics president Young Sohn says, we've sold 1 million Galaxy Fold phones. These are the $2,000 beta phones that didn't work when they first sent them out. To who is the question?
To who?
Well, now Samsung has come back and said, yeah, he made a mistake. That's our goal. We've
sold 100 Galaxy phones.
I can't. When I read 1 million, I thought that can't. It's a $2,000 phone.
I can tell you really quick, Uncle Leo, who bought this phone.
Who?
The Verge and Gadget.
Yes, exactly. I didn't even. I
can give you the list.
I buy everything
right now.
I didn't even buy it.
That's who bought it. Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah.
Because even every YouTuber I saw had it, they rented it or they got sent a phone to review. They didn't buy it themselves. Like a lot of guys buy an iPhone or whatever. We got sent a fold phone. Like, okay, yeah, nobody's buying that phone. Nobody.
Would you buy, though, the new, it's coming out at the end of the year, next year, the new Windows Duo thing that opens up like that? Would you get that?
That looks a lot more interesting to me.
It's got
mostly
two
because
screens. It's not a folding screen. I worry about the folding screen, right? That's weird.
I want the Razer phone.
That has a folding screen.
I want that.
It's only $1,500.
I want that with all my heart.
Really?
Only.
the retro in my life, like, dude, that was the phone where I first had a phone and I thought I was cool. Like, you roll up on a chick and you be like, bloop, bloop. Like, hey, what's up? What you doing? Yeah, my phone's thinner than everybody else. I'm not thin, but my phone's super thin.
It's pretty cool.
You see me calling people? It was a great phone.
Because it folds up to the size of like, I don't know. What's that
Look
size?
at that. I want that, Uncle Leo.
Deck of cards.
It's less than a deck. It's like a short deck of cards.
And
then it folds to a normal
stubby.
6-inch phone.
I need that.
$1,500. If I buy it for you, will you? I don't know. What should I ask him for?
Just buy it for yourself. Let me look at it out of the back.
Review for us.
Yeah,
I do a review. I'm the worst.
I can't give you this phone until you can do the Osmo.
Until he gives us that other review.
The Osmo Mini review.
I'm going to do it tonight. I got to do it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. I'm the same way.
There's also a new phone from Palm. I thought Palm died. But
Palm has a cute phone from Wardell too. That little pocket purse phone.
It's like tiny by the looks of it.
HP buy them? What? So let me look at this. This is Palm.
That Palm phone is cute. It's like Wardell Curry size.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, it's adorable.
It's the size of a credit card, designed for life on the go. It's the world. That kid. This is a joke.
No, that's a real phone.
No, it's a real thing.
3.3-inch display. Who is Palm these days?
So the way they pitch that phone is, let's say you're a busy person who runs a studio, but you just want to go out to dinner and you don't want to take the 4 phones that you have to review and research in your
taking
pocket.
all my
you
phones.
Just take the Palm out with you for dinner, just for dinner. You could take a couple of pictures with it, answer a couple of text messages.
That's why I carry a man bag.
It is a dinner phone for women who have the little tiny purses when they're out looking pretty, and they just pop it in there. Or if you're Wardell Curry and you're short and you're a tiny basketball player,
Stop making fun of Wardell,
wear
a.k.a.
necklace
Steph.
He wears it around his neck like a little necklace, like a little chocolate bar.
You hate
or
Steph
if you need
Curry.
a phone that will actually fit in a woman's pocket.
Yeah.
The only phone that I want is the baby phone. My coworker Louise Matsakis reviewed this. She found it in Hong Kong in like a random supermarket that she went to. If you look up wired baby phone, it'll come up. It is like a Nokia knockoff phone that is like,
oh yeah, I have one of those. Yeah.
It is like the size of 2 of my thumbs put together, maybe a bit smaller. It is incredible.
What?
I love it. All you can do is just call people on it and receive text in all caps back.
No, there's one more thing you can do. You can play Snake.
I need that too.
It has a snake game on it.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wait, which version of Snake does it have? The original?
Yeah, really original. Really, really original.
So if you run into a wall, you die.
Yeah. Well,
which on a tiny screen is hard.
I bet it's really hard. I bought this. It was cheap. It's like $30
because you literally go boop, you're dead.
Yeah.
So worth it.
Louise showed it to us on a Twitter.
Yeah,
and I bought it immediately. Hers says Nokia, even though it's not Nokia, and mine did not.
The Nokia.
It's a knockoff. But I actually slipped it into a friend's purse, and I've never seen it since.
Talk about GPS tracking.
Oh man, I don't think this has GPS.
I bet.
How good is the battery on it?
I don't know, but guess what? It's removable.
It lasted for days.
Yeah, and it's removable.
I was going to say that battery lasts for 14 years straight. No recharge.
You could totally get 2 of those phones and just like wear them as earrings, and it'd work.
Did you see the phone that they picked up out of the concrete, the Nokia phone, and it had been in the concrete, and then they charge it up and it still worked?
Of course.
Nokia, them phones last forever.
Love it.
I'm buying me this Palm phone right now.
I mean, it's actually affordable as well, considering the prices.
$200.
You know, compared to the $2,000 Samsung Fold.
Yeah.
This is.
This is really
these phones
cute.
are insanely cheap.
But who is
Uncle
Palm?
Leo, you made a big mistake. You should have gave out Christmas bonuses. You could have been handing out little palms all over the studio.
Oh, it's not
Christmas.
too late. Let's get this for all the hosts.
They
would be so happy.
Let's do it. I want to see Ant hold his phone up and make a phone call like this.
It would be so funny.
I want to see his big mitts with this tiny
He wouldn't be
phone.
able to hold it. It would slip through his fingers.
All
day battery life, 32 gigs of storage, 12 megapixel camera. Wow, this is.
You can even buy it with a power bundle, which includes a Mophie battery case. If Mophie's making accessories for Palm, like this is like a real thing.
And the phone's old too. It's been out for a year, so we're not.
Oh, it is.
Any new
I thought
installations.
I never saw this before.
Oh, You just, like I said, Wardell been advertising for a little bit. It might not have been a year. I saw
Steph Curry was doing ads for it
for like 6 months. Yeah. Huh. Last year in
Originally,
playoffs,
you had to have another phone attached to it for it to work.
That's really stupid.
But they've recently.
Why would you want a phone that needs a phone?
For your phone.
It's a sidecar.
But they
told you when you go out to dinner.
Yeah, but you can't leave your phone at home. You need both of them.
So I actually used to have a phone, and it was a Kickstarter project, and it looked like one of those pocket calculators that people had back in the 90s. And the idea was that it came with a case, and you would put it on the back of your phone, and it was for a second SIM card. And the idea was then you could just receive messages and calls on it, but you wouldn't have to carry two separate phones. However, I never got the darn thing to work properly, so that was a Kickstarter fail.
Isn't it Simple Phone or something? What's that phone that has? What's that called?
Simple, I think. Sounds right.
Simple? Okay.
So Paris wrote a big piece, the definitive piece, the ultimate piece on the Wired Guide to Influencers. Everything you need to know about it. You forgot about it already, haven't you, Paris? You've moved on.
No, I did not. This was so many days of my life.
This is your life's work here.
It really is. I mean, it's less about, I think, what you'd traditionally think of as a guide to influencers. There's no like lists of top people on YouTube or Instagram, and it's instead about one kind of the nebulous concept that is an influencer. You know, it's both. We use this word to both refer to like mega celebrities and teens with 1,000 followers, as well as you kind of use it as an insult and as some people's life goal is to be an influencer. And it digs into that as well as the kind of secret history of influencers, which when I was first assigned this piece, normally Wired Guides have like, you know, a big intro piece. They have a history of the thing and future. And I was like, guys, please don't make me write a history. It's not going to be interesting. It's like 10 years. Like, I really don't want to, you know, just write about who is on Instagram. And then I started looking into it and I was like, wait, like the history of influencers actually goes back to the 90s as far as early like web blogs, early message boards and whatnot. People were kind of trolling these early web message boards to find influential posters and to pay them to seed their feed their accounts with kind of ads for brands and whatnot.
It's one thing to be somebody people listen to for recommendations, and that's been going on as long as the world has been going on. What's made them influencers is that the advertisers are now seeking them out and saying, if you would mention our product, we will give you $10,000. That's really the definition.
And that these people are unique in that they are different than celebrities or even like one-off viral sensations. They're people who have come to prominence through some means of like technology on the internet or online somehow by kind of organically posting and sharing, and to be an influencer, you have to have in some way the respect of your peers, or someone has to value your expertise on something to consider you influential. And advertisers and brands are paying attention to that, and there's big money in it.
I remember pay per post. You talk about that. That was 15 years ago. Where they would pay you to go out and write a post about something.
So the thing that I found absolutely fascinating about this, because I had totally forgotten, but when I was trying to find this kind of history to influencers, I was looking back to, okay, when were kind of the first big mainstream instances of companies kind of engaging in influencer marketing? And one of them was this company, I think it was Mind Comet was the early name of it, who they had this network that they'd pair with bloggers or find out influential people on Friendster or message boards and pay them to post. Eventually, this turned into a company called Pay Per Post, and they partnered with a lot of prominent web bloggers, and people online generally were furious.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot even underemphasize how
I was
extremely shocked and upset everyone was at the mere idea that anyone could even be paid by a company to post anything or speak about advertising. And then something that I've been thinking about a lot actually during this episode of Twit is that one of the biggest scandals during this time was 2006 was a bunch of like influential tech bloggers at the time reported that, shocking, oh my God, Google of all places, or no, it was Microsoft. Microsoft had sent them new Acer laptop and said, you could review them, you could not. It's just free. And this was apparently the biggest scandal of the year. Everyone was outraged at the idea that Microsoft would send bloggers a free multi-$1,000 laptop. It was the most unethical thing they'd ever heard of. And I was like, today, I mean, that doesn't even make us bat an eyelash.
No.
Yeah.
They'll write a check for.
I mean, today it's considered like a mark of being, I don't know, like a blogger or something. If you get sent a product by a company to review, regardless of whether or not you need to return it,
Sure.
like it's considered. It's considered like a sign that you are a real blogger.
Those YouTube stars who got the $50,000 Mac Pros and did those videos, that's a huge sign of status. And I'm going to guess not one of them said anything bad about it.
Yeah.
Not one of them. Those aren't
all.
reviews anymore. Those are paid posts. And honestly, I think you may say we tolerate it now, Paris, but most people, when they use the word influencer, that is a pejorative. That is a negative term. You're an influencer, right?
But not everybody realizes how many people are technically influencers. Like your favorite YouTuber that reviews a bunch of tech gadgets, somebody that you follow on Instagram that you really like their style or love their photos of, I don't know, like
it's honestly
or
why
whatever you follow. And like everything they tag in there, they're probably getting money for.
We used to get a lot of stuff for review from companies, and it's why I established policies that we say we will not accept it for you unless you send us a return label. We'll keep it for a specific period of time, 2 weeks. We'll send it back. And for the most part, the stuff we review, I buy because I don't want to. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Right. I'm sure we're tarred with the same brush as everybody else. That Osmo Mini, I bought that. I mean, my iPhone I bought, my Macs I bought, my Pixel 4 I bought. And I buy it for our reviewers too because I don't want to be in that, pay for play space. But the truth is, Marquez Brownlee still gets more hits than I do. It doesn't seem to matter at all.
And it doesn't because the thing is, the way the system works now, especially with YouTube, like this light per se is made by Aperture, and before it even was for sale, all the YouTubers reviewed the same light. So you see 30 different people reviewing the light. And if it's a good product, it's going to make people buy it. And that's just the way that it works. The new wave of influence is so different and sometimes subtle and sometimes overbearing, but it works. The number one email I get about being on this show is when randomly, like right now, when we talk about influence, and I would mention how I make money off of Instagram selling accounts. People always want to know how I do it and what the procedure is. And I usually tell them, and I'll just say it right here really quick. So next time somebody asks me, I can just say, check out the episode. So
I had no idea you did this. Have you mentioned this before?
Oh, I've mentioned it like 4 or 5 times when wherever we talk about influencers.
Obviously not paying attention.
No, they don't.
So what does that mean? What does that mean?
Nobody cares.
You create accounts and sell them?
I make accounts. I get it up to 300,000 followers, and then I sell it to someone.
How do you get it up to 300,000 followers?
I'm about to tell you the system. You want to hear the system or not? I'm about to tell you how to do it.
I never got more than 33,000 followers on Instagram.
All right, I'm about to tell you how to do it without having to buy followers.
And I'm a real person.
So, you're a real person. Let's say you got 0 followers, all right?
Yeah.
You open up Instagram account, you got 0 followers. All you have to do is find a meme account or a pretty young girl and tell them, hey, I'll pay you $20 if you post my account on Instagram. You make your account private. You put 10 posts up there, or either memes of funny videos or 10 hot girls. You're going to get literally inundated with requests, and people can't see what the content is. You never accept a request within the first 48 hours. You wait long enough that people forget that they even sent a request. You sit there for a little bit. You accept all the requests. Next thing you know, you got 2,000-3,000 followers. You do that process again after like $100. You're probably up to maybe about 10,000 followers.
Do you ever go public?
All this is private. I don't let anyone know that I'm doing this.
Nobody's seen these posts so far.
Oh, no. You have to have it private because when people go click on it, they'll go see you only have 10 posts, or they'll watch your 10 videos and then they'll never follow you. But if someone viable posts you, then you sell it. And then if you did it yourself, which is what I've done, you build up one account that's big enough, then I can refer myself to new accounts, build the accounts up, and then you sell the accounts off to people that want them and just want the numbers. And then they can re-put their name on it.
Who's buying these, celebrities or?
Sometimes regular people, sometimes small businesses. You know what I mean? You start up a business and you want to have followers.
They go public after they buy it from you. They take all your stupid posts out.
They delete they delete everything off of it, but they've got
we have 1,000 followers.
Yes.
There was a really good article I read on Medium earlier this year about how somebody eats for free in New York City using Python, automation, artificial intelligence, and Instagram. And essentially, he has a whole series of scripts where he follows people and then they follow him back. And then after a while, he unfollows them because there's a maximum number of people that you can follow. And then he ends up with a massive number of followers and he gets to eat for free.
Because he just goes into the restaurant and says, see, I have 300,000 followers. I'm an influencer. Let me give me some food.
Which, I mean, to me does not feel good. It's the same way it's, like what you say, Leo, with, people sending you free products to review. I prefer to buy stuff myself. So I looked at this and I was like, interesting. Like from an automation perspective, I was really intrigued about how he was doing this.
It's amazing what you could do with Python.
Yeah.
And there are programs you could pay for and get likes and stuff like that, but those usually bots are not.
So you're not buying. These aren't bots. These are humans. You're not buying.
I get real people to follow my account, so at least they're real people. It takes me a little longer, but they're regular people. And usually the hot girl thing works the most.
That should be your model. It takes us a little longer, but they're real people.
Well, yeah, that's the way I look at it. Because again, you could pay for systems that do a lot of automation for you, and you're getting a lot of bots. But that's also not useful, because when a person comes and looks at it and they see that there's so many fake accounts, there's no engagement, that doesn't help you either. And of course, you have to expect some kind of drop off once people realize that they're following a mom and pop cooking channel or something after 6 months. So,
It's amazing. Yeah, I always found the less I posted on Instagram, the more followers I would get. As soon as I post, same thing with Twitter. As soon as you post something, they go, oh, I don't want to follow that guy. Well, we've all learned something here today, thanks to our panel. Thrilled to have you, Rosemary Orchard. Come back soon, will you?
Oh, definitely. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Anything you can't do with Automator and shortcuts?
I mean, Automator itself is kind of limited, but switch it for Keyboard Maestro and you're golden.
Oh, Keyboard Maestro. That's your secret.
Yeah.
You do regular coding too, though, right?
Yeah. I'm a PHP programmer by day, so I program for the web.
See, I find that frustrating if you've coded with a real language. I find some of these toy languages frustrating because it's different. You can't figure out how to do something. It's like, well, where's my for loop? I don't have a for loop. No, you don't have
repeat with each.
Thank you so much. RosemaryOrchard.com and her podcasts also on relay.fm. The Automator. I like that. The Automator. And we'll get you back on real soon.
Thank you.
We're going to be in Vienna in June. Maybe we can stop by and have a soccer tort.
Ooh, that sounds like good fun. I am always up for chocolate cake of any kind.
We're taking a river boat from Budapest to Munich. And I believe that Vienna's in the way, so we'll have to go through it.
You really bought into that whole experiences over items thing, boy. You are.
No, I haven't both, actually. I didn't limit myself.
Your mileage right now, it's looking great, man. You got miles for days, boy. You're circling the globe.
I have socks, and I have my riverboat trip. That is Mr. Dr. Owen J.J. Stone, IQMZ.com. He's got the Raisin a Ninja podcast with his daughter. What else are you working on?
All podcasts will be launching again in January 2nd week. So just go over to IQMZ.com, throw your name in the email list. I don't spam. I just throw out once a month. But I just like to remind you that it is the holiday season. Break those phones out with grandma and get a story about when she grew up. Ask her about her first job.
Yes.
Remember all the things that you need to know about your family. One project that I will be doing is, instead of doing all these wedding photographers, I personally am going to start a little small project of home movies where I go and interview mother, husband, video the kids, interview the grandparents, put it together like you would a wedding movie and do a nice experience. And then hopefully Will Smith or somebody takes me on a trip, or maybe Uncle Leo takes me to Vienna, and I get the videotape family in the background and stitch together a movie. So you have to remember that time in 4K. I can't do 6K or 8K unless we get the $52,000 Mac. But in 4K, I can put together a nice little video of you and your family. You should do it at home.
You're such a hustler.
You got the iPhone to do it.
You're a hustler.
Go ahead and videotape your family.
You remind me of Dolomite. You're the Dolomite of the tech era.
Uncle Leo, we can't all be as smart and as wonderful and create an empire like you. So all I can do is drag on your coattails and get a free trip together.
I love your hustle.
Family. I mean, you got the camera. Uncle, let me take the picture of you with the Galapagos. You're out there with the Galapagos. You don't need to be taking selfies with the $2,000 camera. You got to focus on.
I like taking selfies with the blue fitted boobies. That's part of the fun.
I can tell. And Instagram knows it too.
Yeah. It doesn't because I have given up on Instagram as well as Facebook. I don't carry any.
The wife's doing all the dirty work for you. She's making sure I know where you guys are and that you're safe at all times.
I try to talk her out of it, but I can't. I know
you can't stop her from shining.
Can't stop her. DocTales, the IQMZ Tech, the Raisin a Ninja.
Doing all kinds of fun stuff, Uncle Leo.
Sorry about those Eagles.
They won today. It was horrible, but they won. Go Niners. There you go.
We're going all the way, baby.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you to Paris Martineau. Always a pleasure. Wonderful to have you. You find her work at wired.com, including that recent article on the story of influencers. And anything else you want to plug, Paris?
Nah, not really. I mean, Wired's good.
What are you working on?
Twitter.
You working on a big story?
Always work on big stories. Right now, a couple of end of the year things that'll be fun coming out between now and 2020.
Nice.
End of the decade.
Nice to have you. Nice to have all three of you. We appreciate your time on this holiday season, especially those of us who are already 3 sheets to the wind. No, those of you who came into the studio today to visit. If you want to watch our shows, tickets at twit.tv. If you want to watch live but you can't come to the studio, there's a stream, audio or video at twit.tv/live. If you can't watch live, you can go to the website and get any episode of any show at twit.tv or subscribe in your favorite podcast application. Or you can ask Samuel L. Jackson to play This Week in Tech. And without swearing, he'll probably do it. We do the show every Sunday afternoon, right about 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern, 22:30 UTC. If you want to watch that live show usually comes out late Sunday for your Monday morning commute. Thank you for being here. Next week, it's a look back at the big stories of the decade, the 2010s, and the following week, the best of. So is this officially our last twit of 2019?
Yeah, the last live twit, yes.
Last live twit of 2019. I will see you all, I guess right before I leave for CES, January 4th, I think that is.
5th, January 5th will be our next broadcast.
Wow. How fast this happened. I can't believe it. We're already at the end of the year. Thank you, everybody, for being here all year long, and we'll see you next year. Happy New Year. Have a happy holiday. Another twit is in the can.
This is amazing.
Okay, Boomer.
Doing the twit. All right. Doing the twit, baby. Doing the twit. All right. Doing the twit.
Doctor, do you want to give us a final farewell rant? Is there anything that's on your mind these days?
The only thing I want to rant about is what I was saying earlier. People have the power to record things that are important. And it seems like when something bad, you'll see the comments, everybody wants to talk about something bad. You post something good, people don't really have anything to say. So even in your own world, just take the time to actually talk to your kids, record conversations, talk to your parents, record those conversations. I watched a video of the interview I did with my dad, and he passed away 7 years ago. I watch it so much once every couple of years, and it just makes me feel good. It makes my daughter feel good watching it. About when he first went to prom and his first job and when he joined the military. And having stuff like that is important to me. So I know like once a year I say it, and some people are like, oh, man, you keep harping on it. But I feel like people need to do it. And it's important. And at this time of the year, it's a great time to say it because everybody's around family and friends and everybody's generally happy, with the new year and Christmas. So that's not a rant of negativity. It's a rant of positivity. Record and share these moments so you have them instead of just sharing cat videos all the time.
What is it the young say? Word.
Word, son.
Word, son.